Welcome to Mission Prep Football. You're tuned into the Mercedes-Benz of San Luis Obispo pregame show. Mercedes-Benz of San Luis Obispo has been serving San Luis Obispo since 2012. If there's something that you're looking for from Mercedes-Benz, they're the dealership you can count on. They have most of the popular new models at Mercedes-Benz, and then get the rest for you only at Mercedes-Benz of San Luis Obispo. I'm Brian Stanley. Tonight's broadcasters are Connor Allen and Daniel Gillman. Here you go, guys.
And with just 3 weeks to go in the regular season, a pivotal Mountain League battle here in San Luis Obispo as the 4-0 Mission Prep Royals take on the 2-2 Arroyo Grande Eagles. Alongside Connor Allen, I'm Daniel Gillman. So happy to be with you. And Connor, we've got a fun one today. Two offenses that will not put anyone to sleep.
No, we've been spoiled with Mission Prep offense over the last couple of years, and it's going to keep giving us more and more entertainment, especially tonight, as we've got, like you said, two teams that are going to fill the stat sheets for us, we hope.
And for AG, the spread offense, something that we see a little bit from Coach Schuster from time to time with his two big wideouts, but 3 and 4 wide receivers at a time for this Eagles squad coming off of a pair of wins, 53-0 against Napomo, 28-7 against Rigetti. And as we get set for the pregame warm-up, it's brought to you by Kennedy Club Fitness, established in 1981. Voted #1 in the health club year after year. Thousands of SLO County residents, including me, have gotten stronger, healthier, and fitter from Kennedy Club Fitness. But, Connor, in order to stay fit, our cornerbacks today and the safeties are going to have to run a ton. That's our matchup to watch as both teams debut a couple great wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. As everyone knows on this broadcast, we've got two horses on the Mission Prep side, the 6'5", Tyler Garrett, and who's all business, and then we've also got Jamar Howard, who can go over the top and also turn on the burners. But while we've got those two guys on the Mission side, on the other side, we've got a bunch of guys that are also putting together good seasons this year. #1, Brandon Butler's coming off his best game of the season for the Arroyo Grande Eagles last week. They also have a team of a young freshman, Caleb Clark, who's been able to make an impact this season. We're hoping that he can make some big plays this year and continue to progress as he gets older, as he gets sophomore, junior, senior. And then, of course, we've also got Brett Pinkerton in there, who's going to be catching a lot of passes and moving the sticks for the Eagles.
Arroyo Grande led by 6th-year head coach Michael Hartman. And for Hartman, calling the plays just comes naturally. He was the defensive coordinator at AG for 5 seasons, took over before the 2017 season. Taking a look at Caleb Clark, as you mentioned, got called up just before the St. Joseph's game. Tough loss, 52-17, but Clark has gone on a 4-touchdown streak with 1 reception for a touchdown in each of his 4 games. Let's take a look, though, at the defenses here, because some folks do come to watch the defense. For Mission Prep, it's always going to be the Luera brothers that everyone keeps an eye on. But, Connor, from the back line today, you're going to have to add a little bit more. Tanner and Nazil are going to have to step up for the safeties.
Absolutely, and you're also going to have to look for Mr. Luke Terry in there, who's going to play some corner, some slot corner, and he's one of the men that they kind of teams have taken to picking on just a little bit, and he's improved every week as the season's gone on. And I know that tonight his work's going to be cut out for him as he bounces around. And just like you said, the other two guys back there are going to have to make plays. They're going to have to keep their heads on a swivel. And they had a good warm-up last week playing Lompoc. The big, strong-arm quarterback, Kevin Ross, was throwing it all over the yard. And they got a good look at what a good passing game makes you feel like and gives you that fear when you're in your back pedal. But Mission Prep was able to come out with the victory, and they're going to hope that they were to build on that success last week and bring it in tonight.
And it's behind the quarterback-running back combo of Colby White and Drew Harrigan. Harrigan, the junior, looking to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark on the ground here this season. In fact, he's just over 1,000 yards overall at 999 yards
Wow.
of all-purpose yards for Harrigan. Colby White up over 1,000 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. For Arroyo Grande, they've got very similar numbers from the quarterback-running back combo with Drake Missamore in his first season on the varsity team. Junior at 6 feet tall. This is an offense. They don't run any huddles. Connor, they're a no-huddle, quick run-and-gun style West Coast offense. Missamore at a 58% completion rate, 949 yards, 10 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. He's vulnerable when he flings it deep. But when they run, Junior Herlihy is certainly one that is tough to stop. 86 yards, 18 carries last week for Herlihy. he had to sit behind 2-star running backs last season in Caden Tynes and Makai Puga, and now Hurley, he has his time to shine.
Yes, he's finally got his his time in the spotlight, and he's relished the opportunity. And AG does have several guys that will run the ball for them, but Hurley, he is the main man, and as you said, he'll be looking to find some holes tonight, but that's something that the Mission Prep defense has done well all season. As you mentioned earlier, the Loera brothers in there in the middle have been clogging up the running lanes, and as you said, we've talked to Coach Schuster here tonight, and that's something that he's going to hit on, especially wanting to take away the run and making a really good team one-dimensional.
All falls silent here on the campus of Mission Prep at Royal Stadium. As the walk-around begins, you see the sign. The Royals looking to stretch their record to 5-0. In fact, you got to go all the way back to the 2020 season, Connor, the last time that Mission Prep fell in a league game. Of course, that was the Ocean League. Now it's the Mountain League as your Royals surge through the banner on a chilly 65-degree Friday night. Once again, you're watching the Mercedes-Benz of San Luis Obispo pregame show. Coming up next, we've got the California Fresh Market presents Mission Prep Football, driven by Hyundai of San Luis Obispo.
Mercedes-Benz San Luis Obispo, with over 25 years of experience and 5 years serving the SLO area. Mercedes-Benz of San Luis Obispo wants to help you get behind the wheel of your next vehicle. So next time you're in the market for a luxury car, keep it local with Mercedes-Benz San Luis Obispo.
Get a head start on your New Year's goals with Kennedy Club Fitness. Locations all over San Luis Obispo County. You've got classes, sauna, steam room, tub, and a heated pool. It's where I work out. It's Kennedy Club Fitness.
California Fresh Market is more than just your local grocery store. A full-service deli featuring premium Boar's Head meats and cheeses, handmade take-and-bake pizza, fresh salad and olive bar, gourmet cheese department perfect for any occasion, sushi rolled daily, organic and locally sourced produce, wild-caught seafood, choice Prime and Snake River Farms American Wagyu beef, artisan sourdough bread, and full-service health and wellness. California Fresh Markets, the best on the Central Coast.
Hyundai San Luis Obispo is proud to support Mission Prep football this fall at 1407 Auto Park Way in San Luis Obispo. Come check out our Hyundai Getaway Sales event. With new inventory arriving daily, you won't want to miss out on what's going on at Hyundai San Luis Obispo. And if you don't feel like coming in, we make it easy with the option to shop from home. For more information, visit HyundaiSlow.com. Mission Prep football is driven by Hyundai San Luis Obispo.
Hi, this is John Thea with Thea Automotive.
Someday,
And that's my son Tom singing. You can feel a glow when it comes to the way your car looks when you bring it to Thea Auto Body.
I will feel a glow just thinking of you.
From minor dings to major collision repair, we can give your car a like-new showroom look. We can straighten and repair any frame type using ultrasound technology. Our refinish department features paints that exceed factory specifications, and they are applied in our state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly spray booth. Plus, we work hand-in-hand with your insurance company so your claim goes smoothly.
Just the way.
Love the way your car looks. Bring it to Via Auto Body and Collision Repair and let our family take care of your family. Nicely done, son.
At KD Capital Mortgage, we know that your home is much more than four walls and a roof. Your home is where dreams are born and memories are made. That's why whether you're looking to refinance your current home, purchasing your dream home, or buying an investment property, our goal is to help you take advantage of today's historically low rates and make sure you find the right loan to match your specific needs. So whatever your mortgage needs may be, the perfect loan is waiting for you, and KD Capital is here to help. please give us a call at 805-226-5550. A proud partner of the Mission Prep Royals.
And it is a full house here at Royal Stadium on this Friday night. So happy to be with you alongside Connor Allen. I'm Daniel Gillman. Both of these teams coming off victories. In fact, Mission Prep on their 4-game conference winning streak. Arroyo Grande, winners of 2 in the row. And obviously 2 teams going in different directions. Obviously, a little bit of a rebuild for the Eagles behind their first-year quarterback in Drake Missamore. They've got to come in here with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder, though, in the first ever matchup between Mission Prep and Arroyo Grande.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before the broadcast started here tonight. We were trying to pinpoint exactly when it was potentially that they had their last game, and we landed on before the modern era. So
exactly.
It's been a while. It's going to be a big game tonight. And, yeah, it's just like you were saying, you look down the AG roster, and over years past, you're not used to seeing a lot of juniors starting for the Eagles. They usually have a lot of depth. They usually have a lot of older guys. They used to have a saying around these parts, the Eagles don't rebuild, they just reload. Yeah. So that's how it's been, and so it's a little bit of a down year for the Eagles, and it's going to end up being a fun night here tonight between them and Mission Prep.
See the captains who jog out there as Mission Prep on the right side with Colby White, RJ Esmond, and the Luera twins trying to find out the first decision of this ball game. And, talking to Coach Schuster, he said maybe there was a JV matchup in the 90s, there was a scrimmage in the 60s, but nobody really knows. The records are all gone. He said, regardless, we're looking to beat AG for the first time. As Arroyo Grande, unfortunately, with an injury to Devin Lewis out there, their captain with Damian Santos, the do-everything receiver, defensive back, along with Brandon Butler, and the running back, Junior Herlihy, as the Mission Prep Eagles get set to receive on this opening kickoff, it seems. As the kicker for Arroyo Grande, Josue Lopez Ramirez has a big leg and will get us going here in the first quarter, presented by Via Automotive. Their family has been helping your family for 60 years here in the Via Automotive first quarter, and we are getting ready to rumble. It's dropped down to about 61 degrees on this Friday evening in a matchup where, of course, Mission Prep on a collision course with St. Joseph here at the end of the month, but both teams need to stay clean in order for that to be the highly anticipated matchup of 6-0 teams.
Well, I know talking to certain coaches around the program here for Mission Prep, that's kind of been a hush-hush topic. We're not talking about St. Joe's. We're not talking about the end of the season. We want to talk about who's in front of us, do your job one game at a time. You don't want to have any trap games if you're Mission Prep. And this could be one of those ones that people chalk up as a trap game. You just had the big Lompoc game. Next week, you look ahead, so we're hoping that they're able to stay dialed in. And you are right, the Marine layer has started to kind of descend on us here.
It certainly has, as Jamar Howard set to return, the lone kick returner here. It's been a matchup of Luke Terry, Tanner thrown in there a little bit, George Kardashian always available in case it's a squib kick up in front. As we can talk about it, though. Maybe the players and coaches won't talk about it. We can talk about what could be the matchup of the decade here at the end of the month. But, of course, you got to get through Arroyo Grande. You've got to go to Rigetti next weekend. And for AG, they've got Santa Ynez and Paso to end their season as Josue Lopez Ramirez gets us off and running on this Friday night. A low stinging kick that does tail out of bounds. So a flag thrown on our referee crew led by Gerald Schaefer.
Yep, they're going to get the ball to 35, and that's something we've seen actually most of the year. Not a lot of people have been interested in kicking the ball to Jamar Howard, and that's for good reason. Last year, he ran one back. I think he might have ran two back, and earlier this season when they were kicking to him, San Ynez kind of made that mistake, and he had a big return as well.
Of course, when you lead the team with 460 yards, you're going to be someone that defenses want to avoid. So you mentioned the penalty on the kickoff pushes the ball to the 35-yard line. Stars on the defense for Arroyo Grande. We've got eyes on the two cornerbacks in Brandon Butler and Damian Santos. They're going to be on the field at all times. Wide receiver, defensive back combo. With the linebackers stepping up is needed as Armstrong, Charisma, and Mosier fill the middle. And right off the bat, looks like some early action from the right outside position as offside is called. That's Paul Sizemore, the junior defensive lineman.
Chiming in from the top deck, guys. Official kickoff on the Sunday car wash kickoff. Official time, or official temperature, excuse me. I'm up in the top deck. I'm getting the barbecue fumes up here. It's 59 degrees.
Thank you, Brian. We are happy to have a three-man crew with you today. As always, Drew Harrigan with Howard and Garrett lined up as Harrigan gets the run, squeezes around the outside corner. He's still chugging, and across the 50-yard line goes the standout junior for Mission Prep.
Well, the tried and true power play, we know they love it. They're going to run it over and over again. One thing I admire about Coach Schuster is he's a coach where if he has a play that works, he's just going to keep calling it. He's not going to make any changes until you prove that you can stop something.
And an eye-popping 174 rushing yards last week for Harrigan, averaging 9.5 yards per carry. Something that Coach Schuster loves to develop, the early run game, to try to open things up and avoid the double team. It looks like Howard at the bottom of your screen is doubled as the three-back look set. And an option formation, a power run here. White still chugging across the 40, into the 30-yard line goes Colby White, and a first down for Mission Prep once again. That first down brought to you by Mountain Air since 1975. They've been helping all people at all skill levels explore and enjoy the outdoors. Check them out at 667 Marsh Street.
So I think that's a new wrinkle for the Royals there. I haven't seen that, the kind of inverted wishbone they were doing out of the pistol there. That was a fun little wrinkle, and leading to the quarterback run, which you know is the only play in football where you're going to have 11 on 11 actually.
Helps to have the Luera-Towson combo right in front of them. Those two fullbacks slash wingbacks, as you mentioned, with Harrigan behind. Offensive line set. Another 1st and 10 as Harrigan takes the carry. He's grabbed down quickly. That's Jonathan Aguilar coming off his best game of the season to finally find us at a second down.
Yeah, and we saw a nice block there by the 3-star R.J. Essman, the big tackle for Mission Prep. He just put one of the AG defenders in the dirt, letting him know, hey, man, this is going to be a hard-fought game in the trenches tonight.
Certainly will be. Esmond there, number 77, the captain for MCP, alongside Joseph Clipperton, Sean Rivas, Gabe Rodriguez, and Case Christensen, the 5 who will be tasked with moving the ground game tonight. Just over 10 minutes to play here in this first quarter. 2nd and 9 for Mission Prep. As White looks to the left side, he's got Howard. The defender slips, but so do the fingers of J.J. Howard there as we've got a 3rd and long.
Yeah, that was a great throw by Colby White. Hit his back foot. They just threw a nice little out route right there. He had a lot of cushion, about 10 yards off. And so, you know, you pitch and catch, try to take what you can get there, but falls to the ground.
First throwing play of this game after 3 straight runs have Mission Prep up across the 40-yard line at the 31 for a 3rd and 9 here early in this first quarter as AG looking to stamp down some defense. Just allowed 7 points in their last 2 games combined against Rigetti and Napomo. Once again, that 3-back set. Out wide to the right, Garrett. Howard at the bottom of your screen. White looks back. Has sights set on Luera, and he can't pick it up either. So a pair of drops in this opening drive. 4-down territory, you think?
Yeah, I believe it would be 4-down territory. They're kind of stuck in no man's land right there. And it's a bummer for White. Those are 2 great passes he's made so far there, and those are 2, generally sure-handed receivers for the Royals. Maybe just a little bit of jitters in their first matchup against, the Eagles this century.
How about this, Connor? White had just 2 incompletions all of last game.
Yes, he did.
12 for 14 with 209 yards against Lompoc. He's 0 for 2 to start this one.
The Mission Prep Lompoc box score is one to behold if you have an extra minute to check it out. It was amazing.
61-35 All touchdowns there. In motion goes Luera. It's going to be an option on 4th and 9, and White has room across the 20, but a flag flies as White's tackled at the 11, and everyone pauses to see the decision.
A great play call there by Coach Schuster. When they move those two running backs over there, it's basically just making it so they don't have to pull.
And it's a holding on the offense, which will push Mission Prep back. And we'll see where the hold was issued, because if it's, of course, down the field, which it looks to be, it'll just be another 4th and 9, as opposed to, of course, if the hold is in the backfield, you go back 10 yards.
He threw it from far back there. He was showing off that arm.
Usually, when the backline judge throws a flag, it's on the defense, but Mission Prep will have another run at this 4th and 9 here with 9:50 and running in the opening quarter.
These have been times when they like to, Garrett's at the top of the screen. It looks like he might be all by himself. This might be a Colby White 3-step drop.
Damian Santos, one-on-one defensively with Garrett. Double team on Howard. It's looking towards Howard. White scrambling, pointing. Howard leaps, and it's through his hands. Certainly a catchable ball and a turnover on downs on our opening possession.
Yeah, rather than go to Garrett to the wide side, they took Howard, who was in tight on the numbers there, and tried to find some room for him on the kind of out-breaking route. They did a little backyard football there, told him to go inside, but the ball bounced right off his hands.
So we're just 6 minutes in. We've got a quick turnover on downs, and quickly, a team that runs quick is ready for their offense. And for those that haven't seen Arroyo Grande move this season, they don't huddle. It's the combination of Drake Missamore and Junior Herlihy in the backfield with a 4 wide receiver set. Santos and Butler combined with Pinkerton and Clark. Double screen look, and the throw is well high and over the head of Damian Santos. A little bit of nerves for both quarterbacks early.
I think it's nerves, and I think something we might not take into account too often is it's a little moist in the air from the marine layer coming in. Might have a little effect on the grip of the ball for some people.
After one play, referees with a little bit of confusion here. Top portion of your screen is the Santos-Butler combo. Bottom half, Pinkerton, and then the freshman in Caleb Clark. A freshman does not often see the field, says head coach Michael Hartman, but Caleb Clark has earned it, and he has a touchdown in all 4 games. Number 85 there in the slot, as Missamore has to throw his armband and hurry up to get back in that pistol look. With Herlihy to his right, a 2nd and 10, and it's a junior handoff to Junior Herlihy. It's not going to get much, though, maybe 2. Tackle by Gabe Ahumada. It's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, they just ran that's a staple of the no-huddle play, the zone read. They didn't have the read action there. They just gave it to the running back, but they're going to try to find some holes with their big guys there. When they do run the ball, it's going to be a zone pretty often.
Of course, the linebacker trio of Luera, and Lopez stuffing the box on this 3rd and 7. 3-step drop, Missamore over the middle, and it's just through the hands of Jaden Azil, but a flag comes flying, and it looked like Connor Lopez may have impeded Caleb Clark's route there.
Boy, it was really a bang-bang play there in the back there, and he had a shot at intercepting that ball. He really did. We've had a case of the drops a little bit here tonight. Hopefully we can shake that off as we work our way through the first quarter.
So a flag thrown for the 2nd time, and if it goes against Mission Prep as the defense is preparing, this will be 2 crucial penalties against the Royals early.
Something you never want to do when you're trying to play good defense is give away free plays. I used to talk to an old coach around here, Bill Stansberry, used to talk about FIPS, fumbles, interceptions, and mental errors are things that you can't do, especially when you're playing a close game against a tough opponent.
So instead of pass interference, it'll be a holding. Still an automatic 1st down for the visiting Eagles. Ball on the 44-yard line here in the first quarter. Still scoreless after a long drive stalled on a penalty on 4th down as Clark takes the jet sweep, pushes around one defender. That's Cole Tanner, who eventually has a crew led by Mario Luera. 82 tackles this season for Super Mario out there.
Yeah, the Luera brothers are the tackle factory here in Mission. They're going to lead the way, and they run sideline to sideline so well, just like you saw on that play right there. They ran a jet sweep, and Clark has some wheels there. You can see him, and Luera was able to run him out of bounds with only a gain of 1.
11 carries, 62 yards this season for Clark, and a 2nd and 9. You see the quick action. That ball is caught on the left sideline by Damian Santos. He's not going to get the yardage. 3rd and 2 comes up as Luke Terry pushes him out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a good job by Luke Terry. He got his hand on the ball there at the end. Looked like he was ripping for the ball, which is what you always want to teach your DBs to do.
Big 3rd and short here for the visiting Eagles in their opening possession just across the 50-yard line. Herlihy takes the push, gets a push, and surges across to the 42. Tackled by Nazil.
Yeah, Adam White there, big number 55 for AG, got a great interior push with his O-line, and they were able to make a big hole there on 3rd down.
First down across the 50-yard line earned via the penalty earlier, and then quickly Herlihy smothered by the combination of a couple tacklers there as Ahumada and Hawk duel up. Gain of maybe a yard.
Yeah, Mission Prep saw that one coming. They were waiting for the run on that one. And like we said, they're going to want to try to make this team as one-dimensional as possible.
Herlihy 86 yards on 18 carries a week ago. Another jet sweep, this time going the other way is Butler with a surgence across the 40. He's pulled down by Mario. Again, 3rd and medium. That's kind of the position that a Mission Prep defense wants to put this offense in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives them some more opportunities on defense to mix up either coverages or bring some pressure. This season, Mission hasn't brought a lot of pressure, but when they have brought it, they've been effective.
Mission Prep allowing just 21 points per game, all things considered. They've had a stalwart of a defense this season. Had a little bit of trouble with the pass last week as Lompoc scored 35 points. Shotgun look, Missamores looking deep, doesn't have it. He's going to take it down and run, evading the defender and surges out of bounds across the 30 for a first down. Kardashian, the closing speed, pushes him out.
Yeah, great job by the Mission Prep secondary there. They're able to hold up and cover all the lanes. It's just sometimes if you can't get home with the rush, you leave open a running lane like that, which can lead to a first down. A running quarterback is always the worst nightmare for any defensive coordinator.
Just over 100 yards rushing this season for Missamore is quick to the line. A read option, Missamore keeps, and he's tackled to the ground by Mario Luera. Already 3 early tackles from Mario. What are you seeing so far from the secondary look? Because it doesn't look like Missamore has much.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to find much space tonight, and they're doing a good job of disguising their handoffs.
Herlihy uses that offensive line surge, but who is there? It looks like it's the big R.J. Esmond who swallows up Herlihy for a gain of just 1.
Yeah, he just checked in about 2 plays ago. They like to use him, especially in the red zone, try not to run his tank down between the 20s as much, and you can see why.
Quick to the line. Shotgun look on a 3rd and 5. Just over 6 minutes to play in this first quarter. Play action across the middle. It's tipped and intercepted. Jaden Nazil has it. It's his 2nd interception of the season, and we have certainly seen some butterfingers from the wide receivers tonight.
Absolutely. Someone was eating some candy. We are in the Halloween spirit. Maybe that's what it is. But, wow, he was doing a great job sitting. They ran just slants across the board, and when it came across, Jaden Nazil was just sitting there in the zone. It bounced perfectly into his hands, and what a great play for the Mission Prep defense. Sometimes all it takes is that one stop.
Well, we mentioned that Missamore is certainly vulnerable to the interception here and there. His 6th interception here in game number 8 for the Eagles. Mission Prep can take a deep sigh of relief as Drake Missamore jogs to the sideline, and quickly running into this I formation are the Royals. Hand off to Harrigan. He is stuffed. Gain of maybe 2 there as they surge towards the 30-yard line, tackled by Armstrong.
Yeah, Lucas Salonik also came down there to make the tackle. And one thing you're going to have to do if you play the Mission Prep Royals is you're going to be able to have to defend off-tackle runs, which means your corners and your safeties are going to have to be able to make tackles. And that's kind of the point. You want to put those little guys in the positions to make plays and try to make them tackle Drew Harrigan, who loves to run over anybody in his sight.
Luera, the fullback. It's a quick look to Howard. Get the ball in his hands, and big things happen as Jamar Howard breaks 1 tackle and across for another first down, brought to you by Mountain Air.
Yeah, sometimes to get the completion, you just got to throw it right down the line, I guess. Maybe get the first one out of the way.
That is the first completion for Colby White. It was a long first possession for Mission Prep. They had a couple long runs, a couple drops as well, and then the 4th down conversion pulled back due to the holding. So now the 2nd possession of this game for Mission Prep.
Some bad news on the field right here as J.J. Howard comes up gingerly. Hopefully he's going to be okay. It looks like they're looking at his lower leg injury of some sort.
Oh, man, that could be bad as We'll keep you up to date on that news. Filling in for him is Aiden Dolan on the near side of your screen. And right off the bat, offside on the defense there. Second time that this Eagles defense has jumped. Maybe the hard count running.
Yeah, discipline, discipline, discipline. That's something that's going to make a defensive coordinator want to pull his hair out, because I'm sure they drilled it over and over this week. That's the only reason why Mission does that whole put their hand down in the dirt thing. It just makes it one more thing you have to prepare for, one more thing you have to think about.
Garrett at the top of the screen. Ball is dropped by White. He picks it up, and it's still alive. Wrangled to the ground, though, by a couple tacklers led by Jacob Angulo, the leading tackler. Another junior. A lot of juniors on this defense. Only a handful of seniors, Connor.
Yeah, this team's going to be a handful next year, this defense especially, with all the young guys that they have and all the experience that they're getting playing throughout this season. And it's a bummer Mission couldn't hand that ball off there, because they had a lot of space on that outside.
Angulo, one of 5 juniors on this starting 11, as a 2nd and 5 comes for the Royals. High formation again with Harrigan back there. Instead, it's Luera who gets the grab. Or excuse me, no, that's Isaac Townsend who sneaks in there. He picks up a few, and it'll be a 3rd and short here. Tackle again made by Angulo.
And we see J.J. Howard trotting back out onto the field, so he seems to be okay. And that was a fun play call there. That was kind of like a little trap, a little inside trap. You don't see the fullback getting much love in offenses anymore these days, but when he's doing all the kick-out blocking that he's been doing, he deserves a carry or 2 per game. Townsend,
a junior, just his 5th carry of the season. He lines up there again as the fullback with Garrett up top, Howard at the bottom. 3rd and 3 here, under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2-step drop, quick screen pass to Howard, but this time the defense is ready as Damian Santos makes the tackle shy of the 50 and shy of the first down.
Yeah, boy, just, they ran the right play there. Just Howard wasn't able to get any depth. He really only needed to pick up 3 yards, and he caught it kind of right at the line of scrimmage, and the defense was waiting for him on that one.
Punt team is the decision for the 6th-year head coach, David Schuster. Looks like a couple frustrated body languages out there for Mission Prep's offense. They wanted to go for it on 4th and 2 from the 49.
No punts last week, and I don't think there was any punts against Paso either. There hasn't been a punt unit for Mission in a couple weeks.
Oh, it's a fake punt. Picked up by Harrigan, and he's across the 50, surging towards the 36. It's a first down for Mission Prep.
What a fantastic play call there. You're sitting at the 50, so if you do give it up, it's not the end of the world. But then you get into the hands of your running back, who's for sure on his way to being an all-conference player, and he bursts through the line and picks up a first. What a great play call there by Coach Schuster.
And Drew Harrigan on his way to the 1,000-yard mark. He'll pick it up in about 40 yards from now. And Aiden Dolan didn't quite look like he was ready to punt that. I looked at my notes. I was like, is that Aiden Dolan out there punting? As you mentioned, we haven't seen a punt from this Royals offense in a few weeks. Now with under 3 to play in the first quarter, again in the opponent's territory. High formation here for Colby White. He'll hand off to Harrigan. And so generously named the Drew train. Got that first down on the punt, but he's stuffed for a gain of 0 here on first down, brought down by Koa Kopcho's senior safety.
Yeah, that was a great tackle by the safety, and that's what you're seeing is you're going to see the more effectively Mission runs the ball, the more often those safeties are going to make the tackles. And when the safeties are making the tackles, that means you can hit them over the top with a post or a go route, and you can see the Mission throughout this first quarter just kind of giving some body blows.
2nd down and long. Garrett still looking for his first reception. Howard on the bottom of the screen. Play action look. Defense doesn't buy it. Scrambling to his right, and the outlet is there. It's Townsend. He squirms by 1, pushed out of bounds at the 20. Another Mission Prep first down here with under 2 minutes to go.
I think we got a block in the back there, and that might bring this back.
Yep.
But just as we were saying, they ran the post route right there to J.J. Howard. I don't know if you guys were able to see it on the broadcast, but he had him. He just didn't have time because they were able to get home with the pressure that they brought.
And this Arroyo Grande pressure has certainly gotten to Colby White early as another penalty flag pushes away what would have been a pivotal first down.
Yeah, you hate to see the block in the back, especially down the field like that, because 80% of the time it doesn't even help and you didn't even need it.
Yep. So the ball placed at the 43-yard line. First down is all the way down at the 25. Long way to go here. What's your play call?
You know, I haven't seen them run a screen in a little bit. They have a nice little screen game, or I'm always impartial to just throwing one up to Jamar Howard or Tyler Garrett.
Howard at the bottom of the screen per usual with Harrigan in this pistol formation. No, instead that's Cole Tanner, excuse me, as Tanner gains a few, but it will certainly lead to a 3rd and long here. Tackle made by Copcho and Angulo at the 39. When safeties are making tackles like this Arroyo Grande team does, their leading tackler in Angulo, what does that mean?
Yeah, it means that you're running the ball effectively, and it means that those are the guys that you want to make the tackles, and if they're making them up by the line of scrimmage, it means they're not respecting your passing game first and foremost.
3rd and 13, and it's a long 13, more like 14 yards here for Mission Prep. You wonder if they're just trying to pick up a chunk into a manageable 4th down. One-on-one coverage with Howard at the top of the screen. That's Santos defending him. White looks that way. Full blitz gets to him, but the pass then deflected. What a play by Jacob Angulo, as it certainly seemed like Mission Prep had Luke Terry open.
Yeah, they did have him, and once again, though, that interior pressure was able to get to Colby White there. They brought, I think, 7 or 8 guys there. They brought a lot of pressure, and unfortunately, they were able to get home. Colby White has been running around with his hair on fire here in the first quarter.
This is something you rarely see in the high school game, a punt in the opponent's territory as Aiden Dolan to kick to Caleb Clark. This time the snap finds the kicker, and the left-footed Dolan sends it high, and it's fair caught at the 19-yard line by the freshman Caleb Clark. We will take a quick break here. Come right back with the quick offense of the Eagles next. Eating out, maybe ordering in, why not try Papa's Thai Cafe, proud sponsor of Mission Prep High School football. Located right downtown off Monterey and Johnson, open Tuesday to Sunday, Papa Thai's Cafe. Back at Mission Prep alongside Connor Allen, I'm Daniel Gillman, as always brought to you by Brian Stanley here on this Friday night as Junior Herlihy in the backfield with Drake Missamore. An offense that if you blink, you might miss a play as Herlihy gets the play action and Missamore surges forward, tackled by Connor Lopez there.
I think that was Ben Walls in the backfield for his first attempted carry of the night, even though the quarterback took it from him.
Yeah, you're right. Junior second running back who had a pair of touchdowns last week against Rigetti. So the 4 wide receivers set once again for the Eagles as Missamore looks back. Little out route to the right side, and it's picked up by Brett Pinkerton, senior's first catch of this afternoon.
Yeah, and Walls seems to be maybe more of the power back for them. Herlihy's more of the speed guy, and he comes in, Walls does, at about 200 pounds.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a bit of a tight call on the first down, and our head referee, Gerald Schaefer, rules it a first down at the 29-yard line. So the Eagles move the chains here in their second possession of the contest as Walls shakes one tackler, pushes away another, but Kardashian able to get the body on him and push him out as our first quarter is dwindling. I want to let you know that this Royals broadcast is supported by Papa Thai Cafe. Papa Thai Cafe is an authentic Thai cuisine that brings you dining and takeout orders to an upper echelon on Monterey Street, open Tuesday through Sunday from 11 to 3 and 4 to 9. As our first quarter winds to a close, our Via Automotive quarter scoreless, but did not lack entertainment, as we'll take a quick break, come right back as the sides will switch fields and the Eagles will take possession again.
If ever I would leave you, it wouldn't be in summer.
We'll never leave you either, especially not in summer. Hi, this is John Villa, and that's my son Tom singing. The average age of the car on the road today is at least 12 years old. The older the car, the more TLC it requires, especially during summer. So now's the time to come in for a free battery and alternator check at Via Automotive. The summer heat can be brutal on your car's electrical system, so let us make sure everything is working right. If you do need service, remember that our technicians are iCar and ASC certified, which means they know your car from bumper to bumper.
No, never
At Via Automotive, we'll never leave you, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall, and that's a promise. Look us up online at via-automotive.com or call 781-3925. Via Auto Body and Automotive. Let our family take care of your family. Nicely done, son.
First play of the second quarter. Brought to you here by California Fresh Market, preparing scratch-made fudge fresh in-store daily, the official grocer of PSN. As once again, Ben Walls gets the carry, and once again, Arroyo Grande able to move the chains here, Connor. And it just looks like this matchup of what could have been great quarterbacks early is running backs that are stepping up.
Yeah, we might have had it all wrong in the pregame. We were talking about throwing the ball over the yard, receivers, and all this stuff, and it's turned out to be a battle in the trenches. We should have highlighted the big dudes on either side.
Well, right now, the guys in white are putting together a good push as this 1st and 10. Missamore drops back. He's looking to scramble. Not much place to go as the sophomore Gabe Ahumada makes the tackle, although not quite a sack as Missamore surges forward for a few.
Yeah, we call that a coverage, well, almost near sack, because there was great coverage there by the DBs for Mission Prep, especially on the top side of your screen there. George Kardashian did a fantastic job, which made Missamore have to pull it down.
4 wide receivers once again as Ben Walls in the backfield. Clark and Pinkerton at the top of your screen with Santos and Butler here at the bottom. Arroyo Grande very content to let this clock run. Missamore to the right side. It's caught by Pinkerton, his second catch, and he pushes across the 50 for another AG first down.
Yeah, they're kind of just taking a page out of what Mission Prep did there. They were giving him too much space up there. You had about a 12-yard cushion, so he ran a 6-yard to 10-yard little out route, hit him on it. It's just easy money right there. You can't give up that much space, especially when they're going to play to the chains like that.
And Hartman's offense got all the way down inside the 30 last possession for the interception by Nazil as Walls finds a couple friends to push him across the 45, and a group of tacklers led by Ahumada hold for what will be a 2nd and medium as now Isaac Towson runs onto the field. He'll replace Lucas Elmerick at the defensive line, adding a little bit of fresh legs now for Mission Prep.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that O-line inside surge for AG has been pretty spectacular here on this drive.
Once again, an offense that doesn't huddle. Getting all the calls from the sideline as Missamore, 2-step drop. Blitz is coming. He throws to the blitz beautifully as Pinkerton. 3rd catch of the game, another first down. Kardashian on the coverage.
Yeah, that was a great play call there by AG. Mission Prep brought the heat. They had linebackers in both A's. They brought Cole Tanner, the safety, off of the edge, and they just were not able to get home. He threw right through the blitz.
Hand off. Nope. Instead, it's Missamore. He's going to hold it. Gain across the 35-yard line. Tackle made by the 2 Lueras. You're under 10 minutes. You know, we haven't quite said David Luera's name. Leading tackler, 7 tackles for loss. Definitely seems like every single play they might have 2 chipping him when he comes in.
Yeah, it's a name you circle when you're going through your game plan every week.
2nd and 6 here with 9:40 and counting left in this first half. Still scoreless as both teams have surged in their first possessions. Missamore going for it all. Pinkerton gets clobbered by Nazil, who makes another phenomenal play.
Yeah, well, that was some good closing speed by Nazil at the end. He looked like he had him for a second. The ball kind of just fluttered in the air. That's when you're the receiver, you're just thinking, come faster, faster. Please let the ball get here faster.
And you mentioned the wetness. Temperature drops certainly affecting maybe some of these play calls as the quarterbacks haven't quite been able to have the best grips. Now a 3rd and manageable.
And this could be another one of those ones where maybe they're just trying to get it to a 4th and manageable. But we know he has a big leg, that kicker.
Well, they got the big Hurley in the backfield. It's a handoff to him. Through the middle of his offensive line and past the first down marker. Another first down tackled by David Luera there.
Yeah, but point is moot. We won't have to worry about it anymore, but that was a nice run up the middle. That was the most space that Hurley has seen between the tackles so far tonight.
Good patient run there by the junior who has rested the last few plays. 1st and 10 from the 26. Quick to the outside, picked up by Clark. The freshman gang tackled for a gain of about 2 just to the 25-yard line. 2nd and long here as the clock continues to tick, and you have to feel like Coach Hartman is happy the longer that the Royals are on the sideline.
Absolutely. This is definitely a game for AG that they want to keep the Mission Prep offense that just scored 61 points last week, as we alluded to, off the field.
And Mission Prep unable to get all their players off the field there. They're going to be flagged for too many men, and 2nd and 9 is going to turn into 2nd and 4. As I'll stop to tell you that Old St. Louis Barbecue is a proud supporter of the Mission Prep Royals, open 7 days a week. We encourage you to stop by after this game or the next game, open late on Fridays and Saturday over on Broad Street. As we saw a couple offsides earlier, this will be the first crippling penalty before the snap for a Royals defense that is going to have to be quick against the no-huddle offense.
Yeah, it's a different thing to play against a team like that huddles not at all, because sometimes their only goal is to get you to have too many men on the field.
Herlihy up the middle. Great surging tackle there, led by number 44, Connor Lopez.
Yeah, and then 55, Case Christensen was able to get in there too, the big man inside.
Yeah, we saw Esmond play two ways. He's out there at defensive tackle right now. It's going to be all hands on deck right now for Coach Schuster's bunch as a 3rd and short comes.
Looks like they're moving.
Oh, yeah, looks like at the last minute they're going to change it from 3rd and inches to 1st and 10.
It's the second time they've done that tonight.
The ball just outside the 10-yard line, so you can pick up a first. Herlihy, nope, instead it's Missamore. Everyone confused, and Missamore down inside the 5, brought down by George Kardashian. Right now the run game doing all it needs to for the Eagles.
It's so funny. We talk so much about the passing game tonight, but both teams are here to flex their run game.
Clark at the top of the screen. Herlihy in the backfield. He gets the handoff. Junior Herlihy down to the 1 or 2. Once again, we mentioned you can get that first down, so they do pick it up. It's a 1st and goal from the 2. Tackled made by David.
That right side of the line is just caving in the Mission Prep defensive line right now.
And this offense not allowing them to breathe. Herlihy stuffed at the goal line. What a tackle there. And Mission Prep comes up big. Is that Tyler Garrett on defense?
Yes,
picks up the big.
You said all hands on deck. You asked for it, and that's what you got.
So Garrett will stay out there. Nazil will come off a bigger package as Drew Harrigan now back at safety. And a fullback look here for the Arroyo Grande offense. Josh Brock, number 29, squatted behind Missamore. 2nd and goal, and a big flag comes in as Mission Prep. No, what's the call? The referee ruled offsides on the offense. Well, that's not something you see every day. And instead of 2nd and goal from the 2, it'll be 2nd and goal from the 7. That changes your play call, doesn't it?
Changes it quite a bit. You take away all the quick little runs that you want to run, but now it opens up. You have a little more space to pass the ball. Sometimes there can be a silver lining there. Nope, looks like they're going to keep the big guys in.
Yeah, tight set with just Santos the only wide receiver. Fling to the back. Herlihy tackled by Esmond. He's not going to get it. 3rd and goal from the 3. He almost mishandled that pitch.
Daniel, that looked like the AG that we're used to seeing right there. You pull the guard, you pull the tackle, you have a fullback kick out. That's what I'm used to seeing. That's what I grew up seeing on the Central Coast. It's nice to see they still have it in the playbook.
So the power package stays out there for the white jerseys. Santos defended by Kardashian. Another pitch. Herlihy uses a surge, and he's into the end zone. Junior Herlihy finally ends this scoreless drought, his 8th touchdown of the season. And every touchdown brought to you by KD Capital Mortgage Corporation, located in beautiful Paso Robles. KD Capital Mortgage is committed to helping you find the right mortgage product for your needs. As now we'll see Josue Lopez Ramirez. Got to tip your cap to the consistency of going to the pitch play.
That was, I'll explain it after this kick, if we get it.
And the kick is good. 7-0 the lead as the Eagles score with just under 7 minutes to play in the first half.
That was some super fun old school football for everybody watching on the broadcast at home. That was called the super power. That's where you have your quarterback toss the ball, and then guess what? He becomes your lead blocker also, just so you can get as many men as you can in front of that ball carrier. What an awesome play call at the goal line.
7-0 the lead for the Eagles. We'll take a break here with 6:06 left in the first half.
As the road you travel changes, so can your insurance needs. Talking with Farmers Insurance Agent Jennifer White can help you assess whether you're ready for the journey ahead. Call Farmers Agent Jennifer White today at 805-592-1272. That's Jennifer White at 805-592-1272.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Mission Prep Football brought to you by Hyundai of Slow. At their dealership, you'll find new Hyundais for sale as well as carefully inspected lineup of pre-owned vehicles, proud supporters of Royals Athletics. This broadcast brought to you by Hyundai of Slow, along with California Fresh Market, as bit of a surprising scoreline for you just tuning in, as Mission Prep has crippled themselves with penalties. One on a big fourth down conversion, another one to give the Eagles a first down on 3rd and long. And Arroyo Grande converts on a 2-yard touchdown run by Junior Herlihy.
Yeah, barely 36 minutes into this game, and it's almost halftime.
It has been quick as Josue kicks it with a clean bounce, and J.J. Howard to return. He does have speed. He'll round the corner. Needs to make one man miss and does. Across the 40, Howard. That's fantastic field position for the Royals, and their offense has not been on the field for a while.
No, they've had a long break for the offense there, and that's exactly what you hope for when you've been struggling on offense. You get to one of your playmakers. That's exactly why teams haven't been kicking it to J.J. Howard, because he can do things like that. It appears we might have an Eagle a little bit banged up on the field.
Yeah, it looks like Evan Brandon is down, so with that, we will step away for a moment here with under 6 minutes to play in this first half.
Experience car buying made easy at Sunset Honda.
Like Sunset Honda's MPG upgrade with huge savings on fuel-efficient vehicles.
Right now, take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months on select new Hondas. Or take $2,000 off every new Passport and Pilot. Or $3,000 off select new Ridgelines.
Plus, get a $25 gas card just for taking a test drive.
Trade in your gas guzzler and get $1,000 over Blue Book from the start.
Get started today at sunsethonda.com.
Orange Theory Fitness in the Slow Public Market is the smartest workout for more results. It only takes a minute inside our studio to understand it's not a competition, it's a community. Together, we're working toward a better version of ourselves to live a longer, more vibrant life. Orange Theory Fitness. Sign up the next time you stop by the Slow Public Market. Proud supporters of Mission Prep Football.
Bad to the ball.
Grocery outlet, bargain market.
Excuse me.
More Franks for less Benjamins.
Grocery outlet, bargain market.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
So unfortunate there as
Evan Brandon, I think.
Yeah, Brandon's going to have to be carried off by a couple of his teammates. Even longer, that Mission Prep's offense will have to wait. And coming up at the break, we'll have our halftime adjustments brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, located in the Slow Public Market. See what kind of stretches mentally the coaches will go through here at this half. Right now, Mission Prep looking for their first points as they were stalled a couple times. Had to punt last possession on a 4th and long. As Howard comes in motion, it'll be a pop pass to him. Yes, technically a pass as a penalty is thrown. Howard smothered for maybe a loss on the play. So if this does go against the offense, Coach Hartman may consider declining.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has just been another nightmare start for the drive for Mission. You don't ever want to start behind the sticks, especially when you're trying to establish your running game. And if you guys are watching here at home, watch the watch the AG defense right before the snap every play. One of the safeties is rolling all the way down within like 4 yards of the line of scrimmage. They're playing basically a cover 3 behind it. They're not respecting the pass at all. And what Mission needs to do, which is they don't have a lot of it in their playbook, because they need to establish some kind of play-action pass. They have a lot of quick game, and they have a great running game. They don't do a lot of deception in the way of ball fakes and things like that.
So it will be accepted. 1st and 22 with the running clock under 6 minutes in this first half. Mission Prep, an offense that has been explosive, averaging 33 points per game. Looking to get on the scoreboard before the end of this first half. And a flag comes flying in, a delay of game now on Mission Prep. And the sideline irate that there wasn't a reset of the play clock there. So 1st and 22 turns into 1st and 27.
Yeah, and it's what started as a loud, packed house has gotten much more somber. You can start to hear the individual voices of the angry parents in the stands.
Angry at the referees they were, and we had a lot of that in our JV game. A miraculous comeback as AG won it 7-6 on a touchdown with 1 minute left. Right now, the varsity side also leading 7-0 as White 3-step drops. He's ready to run. Across the dirt, second base diamond as Colby White gets back to almost back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and long here with 5 minutes to go.
Man, Colby White, that's the 2nd week in a row where he likes to hit that little high step once he gets a little bit of space, and it just never ceases to put a smile on my face.
The Deion Sanders there is Colby White now with up over 160 rushing yards on the season.
Yeah, but once again, that play was they tried to execute the pass, and Colby didn't have enough time to be able to look through his reads.
So now he'll have to take this snap from the dirt with 2 wide to the bottom of the screen. Howard up at the top, and Towson the fullback. Play action. Nobody there to block the open surger in Mosier. White finds himself in trouble and gets through it. Colby White across the 50, and there's your high step again down at the 39-yard line. Damian Santos winds up making the tackle. Mission Prep, a resurgence there.
Man, Colby White doing it himself so far on this drive. I wish we had Boomer in the booth there, because there was a nice little whoop when he whipped through 2 defenders there. And then, of course, once again had to hit the patented high step for us.
Oh, that's a big first down on 2nd and 11. Ball at the 39-yard line now, and we still haven't seen White really air it out. Of course, the height mismatch was all the talk this week. Brandon Butler at 5'8", Damian Santos at 6'2", and you've got your 2 skyscrapers in Garrett and Howard. And now flanking them, Luke Terry to the bottom of the screen. And we are going to have another stoppage and another Mission Prep delay of game. 2nd of the possession, and Schuster is out on the field frustrated.
Yeah, that must be frustrating. There must be some miscommunication here. Mission Prep has only had maybe 1 other delay of game the entire season, and now 2 in this one drive. We know Coach Schuster's about discipline, and that is undisciplined offense.
Well, you see the clock in the top right, 4:28 to go in the first half. Not a typo there. A quick first half of action thus far as Mission Prep. 1st and 15 now at the 44. White finds Towson. He's met, gets by 1 tackler, and then dragged down maybe by the face mask, and it is as Bowden Armstrong makes his first tackle, and now another flag flies.
Yeah, that was the first play tonight. We've really seen Colby White have a pocket to step up into. Unfortunately, he was only able to complete the ball into the flats. But that's a good first step for this offensive line for Mission Prep, being able to kind of hold their water there in an obvious passing down.
And so after the long run by White to get across the 50, now a penalty against the Eagles gives Mission Prep a first down, brought to you by Mountain Air. As the Royals back in a similar scenario they were in the first quarter, inside the 30, hoping to go forward this time, Connor, instead of backwards.
Yeah, they just brought in Armin Clayton, and they let sub out Terry, so it means they're going to probably go back to the heavy package here. But I'm telling you, this is about the area of the field they like to take shots to Tyler Garrett. Once they get to around the 20, they like to give him a little bit of extra room in the back corner right there. He loves that right corner of the end zone.
A team-high 7 touchdowns for number 3. He's at the top of your screen with Howard flanked to the bottom. Towson and Harrigan behind White. This time it's Drew. Out to the left side between the tackles, and he's got open grass. Drew Harrigan tackled at the 1. That's a 23-yard run, and will push him up over 1,000 yards on the season. Congratulations to the junior.
What a season it's been, and what a burst of speed he had on that run. There was just a crease there. Townsend, the fullback, did a nice job of occupying that outside man, and then he stuck his foot in the dirt and took off.
White not wasting any time. Handoff to Townsend. The fullback breaks one tackle, and he is across the goal line. It's a KD Capital Mortgage Corp Mission Prep touchdown, and a field goal away from us tied at 7.
Yeah, we love to see the big man. We love to see the fullback get his way in there. And that was a great drive for Mission Prep despite the few mistakes they made with the clock. And that's the offense that we were expecting to see.
So a touchdown drive, eclipsing only 2.5 minutes there as Mission Prep gets the big 2nd and long run by White. And then Harrigan, who ran for 28 yards, as Max Hanchett made 8 extra points last week. And this one ties us at 7. So all of that frustration from the fans here at home evacuated just a bit as Mission Prep able to get through that field with ease. And that's important, Connor, because Arroyo Grande is going to start the second half with the ball.
Yes, they are. They're going to start the second half of the ball, and they're going to start the second half with some confidence. They've been able to slow down an offense that thus far this season has not been slowed.
We're going to take a quick break here before the kickoff, brought to you, as always, by Sunday Car Wash.
Sunday Car Wash is coming to Slow this October, and they're giving you a chance to win free car washes for life. The car wash will be taking over Superior Express Wash on Santa Rosa just off the 101, but they'll be bringing a whole new experience. To sign up for a chance to win free car washes for life, visit sundaycarwash.com/sweepstakes.
Now it's time for our Sunday Car Wash. You want to win a free car wash for life, visit sundaycarwash.com/sweepstakes. As Mission Prep gets set to boot it, Butler, Clark, and it looks like it'll be
Santos right there.
Santos, yeah, the three-man back there. Yeah. All of them standing at the 20, so they've got their scouting reports set. Max Hanchett ready to boot it as the fans brought back to life here at Royal Stadium on a chilly Friday night. Mission Prep hoping to go 5-0 in the Mountain League, while AG looking for a big upset. They're 2-2 as Clark returns it at the 15. He's got some blockers in front of him, but slips and falls at the 25. That'll be an old school NFL touchback here as AG has a chance now to build more momentum. Any points here would have to feel good.
Oh, this is a huge drive for both teams here. For Mission Prep, it's important to get a stop here to not allow them to go into half with a lead. And then, of course, conversely, if AG is able to get any points here, as you said, then they go in, get the ball back. You can make it to a two-score game, and that's the way this clock's been running in this game. It could be a commanding lead.
So again, the 4 wide receiver look as Arroyo Grande's 4th possession of this contest begins with a handoff to Junior Herlihy. And a flag flies early as it looks like AG may be going backwards. Tackle made by Gabe Ahumada, the leading tackler tonight for Mission Prep, Connor. And when you look at the battle in the trenches today, what stood out to you as a holding is called?
Well, what stood out to me recently has been the right side, especially of that AG offensive line. I think that's big number 75, Jeremy Tavio. And then next to him, I think it's 66. Is that what it is? Yeah, 65, Devin Lewis. Those two guys have been mashing on the inside, and that's where most of their runs have seen success.
But behind the stakes here as a 1st and 20 comes, and you've got to be careful. This Mission Prep defense came up with an interception on AG's first drive.
Yeah, you see that Mission Prep's here got their 2 safeties back. They're expecting the pass, and that's kind of been what the MO's been in the second quarter a little bit. They're kind of playing the pass a little bit more than the run.
An offense that averages 135 passing yards per game. But instead, this is Butler on the jet sweep, and Brandon Butler nearly gets back to the original line of scrimmage, picking up about 5 there to the 20.
Yeah, and that was a great tackle by Mario Loera, able to get outside. And we've seen the Mission Prep defense do a great job of containing the speed on the outsides, especially tonight. It's been more when it's coming up right through the gut has been where they've struggled.
Again, not one huddle has occurred in the backfield for Arroyo Grande today. Less than 3 minutes to go in the first half, and a 2nd and 14 coming with Hurley in the backfield. Missamore nearly picked off as Jamar Howard jumps in as a DB and read the quarterback like a book. Pass intended for Brett Pinkerton.
Well, there you go. That's what you're supposed to do if you're going to give a guy some off coverage. You're supposed to not be threatened by the upfield route because you have that cushion. And then you can undercut a route like that. J.J. Howard almost took one back for 6 and would have sent this crowd into a frenzy.
So far, it's been Brett Pinkerton, the leading receiver for Arroyo Grande, 3 catches for 40 yards. Mission Prep has been able to quiet the combination of Clark and Santos, as this time Missamore looking to go deep. Pinkerton defended by Howard, and he uses the boundary as a second defender there. It's a 3 and out for the Royals defense.
Yeah, what a great showing by the Royals defense there. Way to stand up after you get your first points of the game, and now give your offense a chance to get some points before the end of the half. With 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, they used less time than that to score their last touchdown.
It'll be the first Eagles punt as Josue Lopez Ramirez, the junior, has 18 punts, averaging 30 yards per punt, and we'll kick it off to Cole Tanner. Not much pressure comes from the Royals, and that punt is booted. Bouncing at the 38 and takes an Eagles hop. You wonder why it was grabbed there by Aiden Ross, but nonetheless, it is a meaty punt as the field flips. 62 yards on that punt.
Yeah, you said it, though. Interesting decision to catch the ball that could still potentially roll for another. You never know the way the egg bounces.
Wow, from the 20 to the 32-yard line as less than a minute came off of the clock on that drive. So Mission Prep with a 2.5-minute touchdown drive a moment ago, quickly back on the field, and maybe a tired Eagles defense. You got to keep in mind that.
Yeah, and with a full complement of timeouts, their full playbook is still available to them right now. They don't have to become one-dimensional if they don't want to.
It'll be an I formation here for the Royals with Towson and Harrigan behind White. Garrett at the bottom of your screen, Howard at the top as the handoff is given to Drew Harrigan. He surges through and is tackled at the 38. Big gain of about 6 yards. Lets the clock run a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw Armin Clayton there. The tight end was able to get a nice down block, which was able to kind of set the crease there for Harrigan on that run.
Leading linebacker tackler in Tanner Charisma, who had 5 tackles in the win over Rigetti last week. Now we're at the 2-minute mark of this first half. Harrigan again around the left side, an off-tackle run, and the defense is ready. Good group tackle there, led by number 11, Damian Santos.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due, and one thing AG's done really well tonight is tackle the football. They've made tackles in open field on the Mission Prep skill guys, which is something many teams across the Mountain League have struggled to do this season.
3rd and 5 at the 37. Same formation for the hosts. The 2 wide receiver set. 3-step drop. White going to take his own life in his hands and get another first down. That is 3 quarterback scampers, all for first downs for White.
Yeah, they just like to run the very basic 3-step drop game. And, you know, they teach you that. Your quarterback's coach will tell you hit your back foot into the dirt. If your guy's not open, pull it down because it's not like there's anything else you can do.
Mission Prep with an eye on the clock. Both teams have all 3 timeouts in this quick moving first half. Play action. Going deep. Howard's wide open. He's got it. Santos nearly trips him up, but J.J. Howard, 51-yard strike, and Mission Prep can do it that quick.
We knew it was coming. We knew eventually they were going to have to run the post. There's been too many tackles by the safeties, and Jamar Howard, once he gets the ball, all you see is tail lights.
2 touchdowns in under 4 minutes, and that touchdown brought to you by KD Capital Mortgage Corporation, located in beautiful Paso Robles. KD Capital Mortgage is committed to helping you find the right mortgage product for your needs. As Max Hanchett just put through the extra point a few minutes ago. This one true again. Mission Prep, a 14-7 lead on 2 unanswered touchdowns. A lot of time there, Connor, for the quarterback, Colby White.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic throw. I mean, JJ did a great job of catching it and turning on the wheels, but being able to step into that throw and just feather it over the top of everybody, a fantastic job by Colby White, who's been automatic for the last 2 weeks throwing the ball through the air.
48 yards was the longest touchdown. Last week, 51 yards on the strike to Jamar Howard, who had the slight injury on the first possession of the game. He comes back, nearly pick 6 on the last possession, and now comes through using that blazing speed. Didn't even need the 6'5" frame on that long touchdown, as Hanchett's back out there for the kickoff, brought to you by Sunday Car Wash. You want to win free car washes for life? Visit sundaycarwash.com/sweepstakes. Feel like eating out, maybe ordering in? Why not try Papa's Thai Cafe, proud sponsor of Mission Prep High School football. Located right downtown off Monterey and Johnson, open Tuesday to Sunday, Papa Thai's Cafe. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a coach back when I was playing college ball that used to always say big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments, and that's what Jamar Howard has done here in the second quarter. As you alluded to, almost the pick 6, the touchdown. He's been able to do it all, and sometimes you got to lean on your stars and your playmakers when you're kind of in an offensive rut.
Butler, Santos, and Clark, the 3-man kick return unit, as it's a bit of a squib kick. Takes a big bounce, picked up by Butler. He gets around Tanner, but what a tackle by Cole Tanner as he refused to be beaten. Kardashian helps out as well as the ball is placed at the 31-yard line. And a long field here for the Eagles, who just went 3 and out.
Yeah, and Cole Tanner has been a great addition to this defense for Mission Prep. Obviously the transfer from Atascadero, where he was a do-everything man over there, but didn't get a lot of opportunities to play defense. Now this year, trying to find a role here with the Mission Prep Royals has been fantastic.
Just want to jump in and chime in. You guys talk about the praise on the football field for Howard. He just signed a commitment to University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to play basketball.
Not to be mistaken with Arroyo Grande, one of the weirdest decisions ever for them to go by Rio Grande instead of the Rio Grande, but that's not to be discussed here, I guess, as the carry up the middle. But though, you said it right. It's just funny that school decides that, you know what, we're not going to call it Grande, we're going to call it Grand, as usually RGV is the familiar name, as Waltz is going to dance his way just across the 43, and forward progress is ruled. It's a first down for Arroyo Grande, so the clock stops at 30 seconds here in the first half. AG has the timeouts as Tanner makes the tackle. You wonder if maybe they could take a couple shots here, possibly get in field goal range.
Well, I'd like to see him take a shot to Santos. They haven't thrown the ball really to him much all evening, and when I was preparing for this game, number 11 was the big one I had circled. I was like, we got to watch out for this guy.
Yep, team high 399 yards. He still has 399 yards as it's a handoff to Herlihy. He's across the 50, dragged down, though, by Esmond, who's picked up a lot of coverage at that nose guard position. He's been able to come back and make some tackles. Timeout called by Hartman, up the AG head coach.
Well, you were telling me about this potential 50-yard leg we have on the other sidelines. We might just get a chance to see it here. I didn't see too much sense of urgency from the offense.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. That's a good question. When I talked to Coach Hartman earlier in the week, I asked him, I said, hey, on an end-of-the-half scenario, how comfortable are you for Josue Lopez Ramirez? And he said he's made a 47-yarder in practice. Maybe 55 is his distance that he would feel semi-comfortable. But then he said, if it's the end of the game, Daniel, I'm sending him out there from 70 because there's nothing to lose. End of the half is a little different, and they add a couple ticks on the clock, 11.9.
Still plenty of time on the clock here for these guys, 11.9 seconds. That's 2 plays.
Yeah.
Possibly 3 if they're quick enough.
And they have 2 timeouts, Brian, so
correct.
We'll certainly see here. With the 4 wide receiver set, they haven't really aired it out aside from the interception by Nazil. It's going to stay with Herlihy. Not much push, though. It didn't seem like Mission Prep's defense was really ready for that play, but the ball moves to the 42. here with 6 seconds left. You wonder if maybe they can get 5 more yards and attempt what could be a 55-yarder as a timeout's called by Arroyo Grande.
Yeah, and they let the clock start to run there again. They set the sticks, and now they're down to 3 seconds left. So unless they're going to heave it into the end zone, we might get to see that big leg.
What happened to the generosity that they do in college where when the clock is stopped, you can walk up to the ref and go, I'm taking a timeout as soon as you blow the whistle, so no time goes away.
Yeah, and they are actually going to change it. I think they're going to go back to 5 seconds.
Okay, that's the generosity I was looking for.
Yeah.
I felt that was
we are at home.
I felt that was a little rude to just be like, oh, you want to take a timeout? Here's 2 seconds lost.
Well, Grande's not at home, but they do get the call from the referee to reset the clock to 5.7, and we will see what Drake Missamore wants to do. Of course, if you throw it deep, there's always the opportunity of getting a defensive penalty as a bunch set to the top of the screen. 3 wide receivers there. Surging defender, and Missamore is going to have to heave it to the end zone. It is intercepted by Tanner. Second Mission Prep interception, and it'll be nothing but a stat as it sends us into the half. We'll have our Orange Theory fitness adjustments as well as, of course, our halftime show brought to you by Sunset Honda. When we come back, as Mission Prep scores 14 unanswered in the last 4 minutes, picks up 2 interceptions, and leads at the half 14-7 against the visiting Eagles of Arroyo Grande. Take a break, come right back.
Experience car buying made easy at Sunset Honda.
Like Sunset Honda's MPG upgrade with huge savings on fuel-efficient vehicles.
Right now, take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months on select new Hondas.
Or lease a new fuel-efficient Honda Accord for just $289 a month.
Plus, get a $25 gas card just for taking a test drive.
Sunset Honda makes trading in your vehicle easy too by giving you $1,000 over Blue Book on your trade-in.
Get started today at sunsethonda.com.
Orange Theory Fitness in the slow public market is the smartest workout for more results. It only takes a minute inside our studio to understand it's not a competition, it's a community. Together, we're working toward a better version of ourselves to live a longer, more vibrant life. Orange Theory Fitness. Sign up the next time you stop by the slow public market. Proud supporters of Mission Prep Football.
If ever I would leave you, it wouldn't be in summer.
We'll never leave you either, especially not in summer. Hi, this is John Villa, and that's my son Tom singing. The average age of the car on the road today is at least 12 years old. The older the car, the more TLC it requires, especially during summer. So now's the time to come in for a free battery and alternator check at Via Automotive. The summer heat can be brutal on your car's electrical system, so let us make sure everything is working right. If you do need service, remember that our technicians are iCar and ASC certified, which means they know your car from bumper to bumper.
No, never
At Via Automotive, we'll never leave you, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall, and that's a promise. Look us up online at via-automotive.com or call 781-3925. Via Auto Body and Automotive. Let our family take care of your family. Nicely done, son.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey, oh sugar, sugar.
(14-7) Mission Prep as the Royals at 4-0, looking to stretch their Mountain League lead to 5-0. St. Joseph as well will give you a score update in a little bit as we welcome you into the Sunset Honda halftime show. Experience car buying made easy at Sunset Honda in San Luis Obispo alongside Connor Allen. I'm Daniel Gillman. So happy to be with you. Happy to have Brian Stanley let me take the reins for one broadcast, and it's been an exciting first half. You know,
I want to jump in here and break up the flow just for a second. I have a lot of my royal faithfuls texting me. Where are you? Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. The voice is fine. I'm taking a night off to share the mic because that's what we do. We share around these parts. So that's why Daniel Gillman is here tonight. I do appreciate him letting me have my moment to chime in. Back to the fun.
You got more than just a few moments. You can jump in whenever you want. Of course, Brian is making this broadcast as he always does and usually having to balance so many things. In a big game like this, we've got his attention on the producer side. But let's take a look at the field side of things, Connor, because in the first couple possessions, it was 0-0. We were heading into that second quarter, not wondering which offense was going to stop first. We were wondering which offense was going to start first.
Yeah, it was an interesting first half. You know, sometimes teams need a couple minutes to feel themselves out and feel how they want to figure out and establish their offensive game plan there. We saw, obviously, Mission in their first set came out with a new formation that we hadn't seen this year.
Did you get one?
They utilized there that worked really nicely for them. But it seems like at the end of the second quarter, they finally started to catch on and figure out what it is that they wanted to do. And hopefully for AG, they'll be able to figure out their offense a little bit in the second half. We'd love to see a little bit more points in the second half, as we promised our spectators here, some high-flying offenses.
So Arroyo Grande struck first with 6:06 left in the second quarter. Junior Hurley, he ran it in from 2 yards out. It was a tough drive from the 1 yard line back to the 6 because of an offside on the offense, which maybe meant that an offensive lineman lined up in the neutral zone. And then Colby White stood up. Big 2nd and 20. He surges forward, gains about 25 yards on the run. And then it's the fullback, Isaac Townsend, who scrambles it in from 1 yard after Drew Harrigan's 28-yard run put him in scoring position. And we'd like to throw it over to the field now as John Airbairn gets honored in his 60 years as a referee, coach, and dean of students here at Mission Prep. So we're going to throw it over to the field now.
John Airbairn arrived in San Luis Obispo and began his service as a teacher, coach, and administrator at Mission Central Catholic over 6 decades ago. One would be hard-pressed to find anyone in the 146 years of Catholic education on the Central Coast who's more consistently, more broadly, or more profoundly impacted the lives and the families of our school community. The school in that time span has gone through profound changes, but JJI has endured. His legacy is in the lives of his family, his peers, and his students, whose trajectory he has unquestionably altered for the better. Whenever one talks to any of these people, it's always a fair bet that they will ask about Coach or Mr. Airbairn. And as recently as this afternoon, I was in a conversation with a former staff member who said they could not imagine their time at MCT without thinking fondly of John. And just last week at our homecoming reception, person after person commented about the positive impact John had made upon their formation, as their fear, even today, of chewing gum in any hallway. In addition to his time at MCT, John also served as the preeminent referee of the Central Coast, traveling up and down our state at the high school, junior college, Division I college, and multiple college bowl game referee. He is renowned among this group for his professionalism, his consistency, and his total command of the game. With John in attendance tonight is his wife Thelma, his brothers and sisters-in-law, his grandchildren, and countless other colleagues, friends, and former players and students. It is my true honor to be on this field to recognize one of the true gentlemen, true foundational characters in the story of Catholic education in San Luis Obispo County, and to acknowledge his unanimous election to Mission College Prep Hall of Fame. JJI, Mr. John Airbairn, is a privilege, and I thank you for everything you've done for our school. A replica of the plaque that John is holding will hang forever in the Mission M lobby, and you can see it hanging there tonight as we revealed it at a ceremony in between the JV and the varsity games. John, thank you again. Family and friends, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on a career of excellent service.
And how cool is that? John Airbairn initiated into the Mission Prep Hall of Fame, a referee, coach, and dean of students for over 60 years involved in the game. We'll take a break, hit you with our Orange Theory halftime adjustments when we come back. Here live from Royal Stadium on this Friday night.
Orange Theory Fitness in the Slow Public Market is the smartest workout for more results. It only takes a minute inside our studio to understand it's not a competition, it's a community. Together, we're working toward a better version of ourselves to live a longer, more vibrant life. Orange Theory Fitness. Sign up the next time you stop by the Slow Public Market. Proud supporters of Mission Prep Football.
As the road you travel changes, so can your insurance needs. Talking with Farmers Insurance Agent Jennifer White can help you assess whether you're ready for the journey ahead. Call Farmers Agent Jennifer White today at 805-592-1272. That's Jennifer White at 805-592-1272.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Do you want to eat where the Royals eat? Well, just because the game finishes doesn't mean there's no fifth quarter spot. And for us, it's Milestone Tavern, proud sponsor of Mission Prep High School football, located right off of Foothill with all the TVs, all the fresh drinks, and fantastic food specials every single night. Milestone Tavern is open every day and the favorite spot for our Mission Prep Royals. Milestone Tavern, go check them out. It's time for our second half adjustment, sponsored by Orange Theory Fitness, located in the Slow Public Market. Get results you can see and feel at Orange Theory Fitness. Alongside Connor Allen, I'm Daniel Gillman. And Connor, feels like both defenses have done their job. If you talk to both coaches and said, hey, into half you've allowed either 7 or 14 points, not many adjustments they have to make. Offensively, though, walk me through both sides here at half.
Yeah, offensively for Mission, what they need to do is they still need to establish their passing game a little bit. And sometimes you have to throw the ball to open up the run. A lot of times you say they have to run the ball to open up the pass. But tonight, the way the safeties are playing from AG, they're just not giving any respect. And we saw they finally were able to connect on the one deep pass to Jamar Howard there in the second quarter. That's what they need to keep doing so they can get their linebackers to think for a second and make those safeties play out. Now, for Arroyo Grande, what they need to do is kind of just execute better. They've been able to do a good job, but they kind of shoot themselves in the foot when they get towards the end of their drives, and they just kind of need to maintain what they've been doing. Hurley's been doing a good job being able to run the ball through the tackles. Of course, they haven't been able to get the passing game quite established, but they've taken some shots and they've done some things that have kept the Mission Prep defense honest, and I think that coming out in this second half here, they'll kind of just try to do a little bit more of the same.
Do you see Mission Prep taking as many deep shots or maybe more now? It's just all about offensive linemen. That was the one play that you had a little bit more time if you're Colby White there. And on the other side, that last play, we saw Drake miss more. You don't have any time when you have edge rushers like Ahumada and Elmerick.
Yeah, absolutely. The defensive pressure that AG's been able to apply with their linemen, but also by bringing pressure, has been huge. That has taken Colby White off of his spot. Quarterbacks, you talk a lot about at times, if you make them move from their platform, it can throw off their rhythm, and that's something that they've been able to do really well. So AGE will obviously look to continue to put pressure on, but I think it won't be as many deep passes, but it needs to be a wrinkle in. We talked about it with some play action passes. They need to do some hiding of the ball just to mess with the safeties a little bit and the corners.
And when talking to Coach Schuster, I asked what the number one thing was going to be, and he said if we could take away AG's one best thing, you create matchup issues, and what he wanted to do was stop the run. And so far, we haven't seen any bursts from Herlihy or Walsh yet.
No, Walsh has done a pretty good job for a big guy. He's been pretty fleet of foot. He's made some guys miss there. They've had a good 1-2 punch, but it hasn't resulted, like you said, in many yards or many points. So if his plan was to stop the run, he's done a good job. And like you alluded to, holding any team to 7 points in the first half is going to be a great job.
No doubt about it. Royals football on PSN is sponsored by Farmers Insurance agent Jennifer White. Give her a call today and get a quote at 805-592-1272 as the final warm-ups are wrapping up here at the half. We are just about ready for the second half of football. And if you had one prediction here in this half, maybe a wrinkle thrown in, what would be your guess?
I think, but they're still going to have to take one shot to Tyler Garrett. Yeah, I'm going to sound like an idiot if they don't eventually do it. But I know they're going to throw the ball once to Tyler Garrett, and I'd like to see them try to get Harrigan maybe a little bit more on the outside. Maybe they do one more of those toss sweeps to Jamar Howard on the jet motion there.
We'll see what Arroyo Grande has in store. A season ago, 4-1 in the Mountain League, and a trip to the CIF playoffs, the Division III Central side, where they beat Madera in the first round, lost to Washington Union out of Fresno, 53-32 in a shootout a season ago for Michael Hartman. And, of course, as you all know, a loss to Bakersfield on the road in the Ocean League. So now new league, new look, and potentially another winning streak in store as Mission Prep 10 straight league games victorious in, and one half away from making it one more. We'll take a quick break, come right back with our second half, brought to you as always by California Fresh Market.
Located off Highway 101, just minutes from downtown San Luis Obispo, Pismo Beach, and Central Coast Wine Country. Book your next Central Coast stay at Madonna Inn. With 110 unique guest rooms, on-site restaurants, bars, bakery, shopping, hiking, biking, and day spa, Madonna Inn is your travel destination dream. Let's go Mission Prep. Let's stay at Madonna Inn. Orange Theory Fitness in the Slow Public Market is the smartest workout for more results. It only takes a minute inside our studio to understand it's not a competition, it's a community. Together, we're working toward a better version of ourselves to live a longer, more vibrant life. Orange Theory Fitness. Sign up the next time you stop by the Slow Public Market. Proud supporters of Mission Prep Football.
Welcome back to Mission Prep Football. We're still in halftime here as Daniel Gillman and Connor Allen look up some scores for you tonight. We just want to check in. Josh Schuster said he was having some feed problems with the signal. We're trying to adjust that as we go. Let me know if you have any problems in the chat. I do not have any alerts on my end as we just address some technical issues here just before we get underway in the second half, because this second half action is going to be hot and heavy between these two squads, because these big boys are coming to play some football today. And I'm going to throw it back to my team, Daniel Gillman, Connor Allen. There you go, boys.
Thank you, Brian. As always, Big Red hammering us home. I'll tell you what, we could use a little bit of heat up here on this chilly Friday night. Connor, you have some score updates for us.
I sure do. So looking at the Mountain League, we've got Lompoc bouncing back tonight, up 28-0 on Napomo at the half. St. Joe, like we've been saying all night, it's leading towards that. Well, they're still on the warpath, up 21-0 on Rigetti at halftime. And then your score from Paso and San Ynez, which is the other interesting game this evening. It's 10-7 Pirates lead at the half over the Bearcats.
And, of course, Paso and Santa Ynez at 2-2. Napomo, Rigetti 0-4, with Arroyo Grande sitting at 2-2 as well. Mission Prep up atop with St. Joseph's, who you mentioned have a sizable lead against the Rigetti squad, still looking for their first league win. AG at 3-4. They opened their season with a couple losses against Golden West and Centennial out of Visalia and Bakersfield. Then they beat Slow High School by 12. Lost a couple against Lompoc and St. Joe's before beating Napomo and Rigetti. As this AG team gets set to return the kickoff, a little bit more of a staggered look with Clark and Butler. Santos as well back there as Max Hanchett. He's contributed both of the extra points. He's done his job. 24 minutes separating these two teams. And the finish to this third to last league game as a squib kick starts us and Clark lets it go.
What's happening?
Yeah, it looks like whistles blew right before the kickoff. So we're going to have to do things again as our Zebras weren't ready. So we will have another kickoff. Not a penalty. Maybe just the chains weren't ready or something.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Everyone just kind of trotted down the field. There was no real direction there. But okay, let's do it again.
Anyways, it's a kickoff brought to you by Sunday Car Wash. Want to win a free car wash for life? Visit sundaycarwash.com/sweepstakes. Take two here to start this second half. 14-7 in a low-scoring duel of defenses. This kick a little bit better.
Ooh.
And it's dropped at first by Santos. He regathers and carries it around the left side. Gets around one defender. Eventually, a gaggle of Royals bring him down, led by Luke Walker on the near side. And it's good field position for Drake Missamore and company here to start the second half.
A gaggle of defenders.
You
What
like
a
that?
Great description. Yeah, I haven't heard that. Last time I heard that, it was using the context of geese.
Well, I think it usually is. But as broadcasters, we like to shake things up, keep everyone on their feet. Ball at the 41. So a short field here for the Eagles, who look to tie things up. 7-0 lead for AG that has evaporated in moments on a pair of quick touchdown drives led by Colby White. Missamore didn't have a lot of time in the pocket in his last two possessions. A 3-and-out and an interception. Quick handoff, Herlihy smothered. He did get by one defender in Ahumada, and then a couple other Royals picked it up, but it's a gain of about 5. Good secondary run there, yards after contact for Herlihy.
Boy, Mahuyada looked like he came out shot of a cannon, and I'm not sure how he was able to keep his feet and pick up the extra 3 yards there. That was a great run.
Once again, quick to the line, and then a look at the sideline as Mike Hartman, who told me he has coached every single position except for wide receiver in his time. Now the head coach and play caller is Missamore. Wants to fling it deep right through the hands and intercepted. Going the other way as Cole Tanner has his second interception of the contest. A little bit of an assist by Luera, and Mission Prep's going the other way. Ball at the 40.
Yeah, just like what happened earlier in the game when Nozil got the interception. It kind of bounced off the hands of someone. They were playing some good zone defense behind it, and just Johnny on the spot right there was Cole Tanner, who's also the second best running back on the team, was able to get it all the way over to the 40-yard line, and now Mission Prep is in business.
Complete turn of emotions there as Luera has it go through his hands. Tanner with his third interception in the last 2 weeks. He picked up one last weekend, and then had the one just before half as well. As Harrigan and Towson behind the big quarterback of Colby White. 6'3", 205 pounds is White. And he'll hand it off to Drew, who pushes forward for maybe 2 yards. They'll mark him down at the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 1.
Yeah, the number one thing that stops a power play is penetration. And what you saw right there was the D lineman. I believe that might have been number 24. Who was it? 29, who's able to bust through the line there. That was Joshua Brock. And that defeats the play before it can even get started if you cause a running back to put his his brakes on before he even makes it to the offensive tackle.
Yep, and then aiding to the leader in the defense, Tanner Charisma, to make the tackle, his 40th of the season. High formation once again for Schuster's offense. Howard up top. Instead, it goes to Harrigan. He gets around one defender, but what a heady tackle that is as Jacob Angulo sticks with the halfback. Brings him down for a gain of about 2.
Yeah, I've been very impressed all evening with the tackling of Arroyo Grande tonight. Time and time again this season, we've had plays where Mission Prep looks like the play is going to be over, and then Harrigan busts through, or Howard shakes off a tackler, but not tonight. They've been vice grips back there with the blue helmets and the white jerseys.
Armin Clayton jogs to the sideline as it's a little bit of a lighter look right now on a 3rd and 7, maybe 4-down territory here at the 37-yard line. Back to that wing-back look with Luera and Towson to the sides of White. In motion goes Towson. No jump from the defense, and it's that power run to the right, something we see Josh Allen do often. Oh, he drops it and picks it back up. White all the way down to the 22-yard line. It's a first down for Mission Prep, brought to you by Mountain Air.
That was a roller coaster of a run. He put his shoulder down and ran straight through a defender. The ball popped out in front of him. He was able to get it back down, and all through that, he picks up the first down. Another great call in the quarterback run. You're always a bit nervous when your quarterback decides to put his shoulder down, but at least that was his left shoulder.
65 rushing yards now for Colby White on 5 carries, and closing in on their second trip to the end zone in the last couple minutes. It was a long touchdown from J.J. Howard just before the half, 51 yards. Now once again in motion goes Towson. The defense stays stringent. And what a tackle made as Harrigan swallowed up in the backfield by Paul Sizemore, the junior D lineman.
Yeah, that was the counter to the run that we saw earlier in the game. Kind of run into the short corner there on the weak side. You're hoping for full flow from the AG defense, but they were sitting there waiting for it, and that went for nothing.
You have to tip your cap to this Eagles defense. They have made every yard hard to come by for a Mission Prep offense that has been getting yards in bunches this season, as the Navy and Gold line up again in that 3-back formation. Harrigan in the backfield. White's looking for Howard. It's a timing route on the out. Caught just short of the first down at the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short here.
Man, a well-completed pass is just poetry in motion. Like you said, that was a timing route there. White had cut the ball loose before Howard had made his break. He turns and sees it. It was a little low, but when you have that rapport with your quarterback, you always come up with a deception.
Tyler Garrett will come to the sideline as the jumbo package files in for the Mission Prep Royals. The one lone wide receiver is Howard at the top of your screen. Adding in a little bit of size as Armin Clayton lines up as the tight end on the right side. Handoff, Harrigan. Carrying defenders, and eventually Angulo comes in to clean up the tackle. But the first down is acquired, brought to you by Mountain Air, as Lucas Solonic was the first to get to the running back.
Yeah, you saw a great surge from the offensive line there at Mission Prep. That was one of the first running plays of the night where you see the line of scrimmage be reestablished 3 yards behind where it was. And maybe some of what we were talking about, that AG defense might be starting to get a little tired. While they were off the field a lot, they've now been on the field a lot the last quarter and a half.
Now Howard flanked to the bottom of your screen. 3 backs to the left side of White. Colby, quick little screen to Jamar, who is brought down. A vicious tackle by Koa Kopcho, and a touchdown-saving tackle as well from the safety.
Yeah, he did a great job of just holding on to that leg, man. He got one leg, and he waited and waited until his reinforcements came to help knock Jamar Howard out of bounds. Another great tackle by the AG defense. And as you said, they've really made Mission fight for all these yards, and that's when you do that, sometimes mistakes happen, and that's been a great job. AG's been a phenomenal bend but don't break defense here tonight.
Clock at 7:05 here in the third quarter, and a first down is applicable at about the 1-yard line. So a 2nd and 7 from the 9. Harrigan takes the handoff. He's met quickly, but keeps the feet churning as Angulo takes him down. And you can see why this safety is the leading tackler, averaging over 10 per game, Connor.
Well, we were joking about it in the pregame a little bit. It's never a good sign when your safety is the leading tackler on your team, especially by so much. But that was an interesting play call by Mission there, too. They tried to establish something via formation. They spread out their splits a little bit wider to kind of dictate more running lanes for Harrigan, and he was able to kind of slam it right up into the C gap right there. Another nice job by Coach Schuster, who always does great with window dressing.
All right, quickly here, Connor. 3rd and 5. You thinking run or pass?
I'm thinking pass to Tyler Garrett. I got to just stick with it.
Howard on the sideline. Garrett, the lone wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Handoff. Harrigan inside the numbers, and he powers across the goal line. A Mission Prep touchdown, and they're up by 2 scores.
They went back to the bread and butter there. That was just the power play. Run behind your big fullback. Run behind your powerful offensive tackle and guard. Lean on the big guys, and that made it look easy right there.
That is the 13th touchdown of the season for Drew Harrigan, and another touchdown brought to you by KD Capital Mortgage. And the extra point lined up from Max Hanchett, who has been nearly perfect this season. Missed a couple last weekend, though. This kick is up, and it is good, and the lead is 21-7. Mission Prep, 1 drive, 1 touchdown here in the second half. We will take a quick break here with 6:13 left in the third at 21-7.
As the road you travel changes, so can your insurance needs. Talking with Farmers Insurance agent Jennifer White can help you assess whether you're ready for the journey ahead. Call Farmers agent Jennifer White today at 805-592-1272. That's Jennifer White at 805-592-1272.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Coming off of the touchdown drive, Mission Prep Football brought to you by Honey's Pizza. Fresh ingredients every day is how they do pizza. Check them out at honeyspizzaslow.com and take my advice. Get that barbecue chicken pizza brought to you with the ribline barbecue sauce. It makes my mouth salivate as I just think about it. You know what? They close at 9. You never know, Connor.
You never know. The way that quarter went, we're already halfway through, more so.
That's true. As the kickoff by Hanchett, brought in by Clark. That one was close to the sideline, but Clark is going to make him pay nonetheless across the 40. One man to beat, and he beats him. Caleb Clark, the freshman, goes the distance for the kick return touchdown.
Boy, that man has some wheels on him, doesn't he? He clicked into a 3rd gear, 4th gear, if you will, right about when he hit the 50-yard line, and you can see why that freshman is on the field and why they want to get the ball in his hands.
And there was nobody that Coach Hartman talked more highly about than Caleb Clark, the 6-foot freshman. He told me it is as rare as it comes at AG to have a freshman playing, let alone starting. And we were questioning whether he should even return the kick near the sideline.
Shows how much we know, right? Let the athletes make the plays. We're over here worrying about him stepping out of bounds. He's worrying about hitting his head on the goalposts.
Caleb Clark now has touchdowns in all 5 games, and in a blink of an eye, the Eagles get back within a score as Josue Lopez Ramirez lines up for the extra point.
And man, if you're the Mission Prep Royals, that's really the last thing you want. You felt like you had just put the stranglehold on this game. You felt like you'd taken the fans out of it, AG out of it, and now there's new life in the building.
Snap is good, hold is there, and the extra point is up and good.
Ooh, just missed the car.
21-14 is the score. And after 3 straight possessions without a point, it's the special teams that comes up big for Arroyo Grande. As we'll stay right here, though, as Mission Prep's offense gets set to get back on the field. I'll let you know that California Fresh Market offers the largest craft beer selection on the Central Coast, an ultimate variety of prime and premium beef. Their meat and fresh seafood department selection is unmatched. California Fresh Market, a proud supporter of Mission Prep football. Now you send J.J. Howard back there maybe a little bit of a chance to punch right back.
A little monkey see, monkey do. That would be awesome.
I'm just waiting for a tourist to come by the high school and not know there's a football game here and then get hit by the football. Because the locals know.
I think it's good luck. Every time I think I've seen a car get hit with a PAT from Mission Prep, it results in a Mission Prep win.
A lot on the line here tonight as Arroyo Grande and Mission Prep playing for the first time in modern history. There are some rumors, if you talk to some coaches, maybe some JV matchups in the 90s, definitely some duels in the 60s. But according to Coach Schuster, he doesn't think Mission Prep has ever beaten Arroyo Grande. And of course, this leap in leagues.
Yeah, well, this has become like the season of destiny for Mission Prep. Yep. A lot of firsts this year for the Royals as they come into the Mountain League. A lot of teams they haven't faced in many years. It's a lot of local schools look down on the Royals when they had 8-man football, but now they are back.
And so Lopez Ramirez smashes one right at Howard, though. So Jamar is going to have a chance to use that speed. Howard will change location and burst upon the top of the screen, eventually pushed out of bounds by Jaden Ermacida. Not the best of field position, just to about the 25-yard line here. But the goal here, Connor, has to be to just eat some clock, gain some yards, and finish with points.
Yeah, they're going to go basically into what coaches call their 4-minute offense right now, where you're not going to be hurrying up to the ball. You're going to be paying mindful attention of the clock, and you're always going to want to stay in bounds as if you can, just to keep that clock moving, because that becomes your biggest ally as you work your way into the fourth quarter.
Mention the new faces, of course, defending champs as well, as Arroyo Grande were co-champions last season with both Paso and St. Joseph's in the Mountain League. A little bit of a different year, losing their quarterback, Max Parrott, both of their running backs, Tynes and Puga. And a 2-2 start to league play, as White is looking to throw, and the throw is a little off the mark intended for Townsend. The defense there by Salonik.
It looked like that was our first offensive play from Luke Walker, too, number 8. Get in there in the slot.
Yeah, throwing in some new faces, adding a little bit of deception as well, is always Coach Schuster's idea on offense. We've now seen 5 or 6 different offensive formations with the wing back and the 3 bunched up at the top. Now a little bit more of a spread 3 wide receiver look. You mentioned Walker in the slot to the bottom of the screen with Garrett. It's a handoff to Harrigan, and he's taken down right away by number 55, Adam White.
Yeah, great tackle by Adam White right there. They're just trying to run the power, and they just weren't able to get through it. As we've said before, kind of a penetration that kind of defeats that play right from the beginning.
Under 5.5 in this third quarter and counting. Quick first half with both teams electing to run a ton, and the defense is keeping things tight.
It's a big play here for the Royals. Got to keep some momentum going.
We've already seen him punt once. Colby White in the shotgun. Play action as he scrambles out. Defended by Salonik, and the throw is behind the newcomer in Walker, and the defense and push provided by Angulo as Arroyo Grande forces a 3-and-out, and they've got a chance to get the ball back, and the dangerous hands of number 85, Caleb Clark.
Yeah, I'm kicking this one out of bounds, probably after what I just saw. But they did the play action we've been asking for there, but unfortunately Howard kind of didn't commit to his route at the bottom of the screen. Colby White was looking just for his main man, Jamal Howard, and he just wasn't able to connect.
Aiden Dolan to punt it again. A flag does fly, 2 of them in fact, as Clark catches it in front of a pair of Royals at the 44, make it the 46 in fact, as we'll wait on the 2 penalty flags.
Man, I tell you what, you don't see many seniors that will catch a punt with 2 men right in their face like that. That kid is an absolute man playing back there. Fielding that with 2 Royals right in your face as a freshman, man, that kid's going to have a bright future with Arroyo Grande.
Fearless, as if the penalty is on the defense, you could always elect to have it count at the end of the play, and it is. It's an illegal formation on the return team, and I think they'll just tack 5 yards on. So it'll be back to Drake Missamore and company here as his arm has not been the show today. In fact, the offense for Arroyo Grande has stalled in 3 straight possessions with a couple interceptions in them.
Yeah, he's a bit erratic. He's got some of that gunslinger in him. We saw at the end of the half, he chucked one down there without even really looking for it.
Hold on a second. They're actually changing it. It's an illegal formation on the kicking team, so the 5 yards are in favor of the visiting Eagles. They're across the 50-yard line.
Okay.
Quick correction there as our officials, I guess, pointed the wrong way. Junior Hurley with Clark in motion, and a smart move to give it to him. Desiring tackle, though, by David Luera. 95 tackles on the season now for the superstar senior.
Yeah, you can see AG might be thinking, well, maybe this kid, maybe we should give him the ball a little bit more.
11 carries, 65 yards rushing this year for Clark. He has just 3 games under his belt. This is his 4th. Oh, a bobbled snap, and Walsh is able to get the handoff, but not get much, as 2 quick plays lead us to a 3rd and short. And Connor, that has to be the one downside of the no huddle. 3rd downs come quickly at you.
It's the 3rd downs that come quickly, and it's the inability to take time off the clock sometimes. If your offense is sputtering with the no huddle, your defense feels like it's out there for eternity.
3rd and 4 at the 43. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Back to pass, screen, pass, and beautifully set up to Walsh. He waltzes his way down past the 30 for another Arroyo Grande first down. Brought down by Mario there, but it will not be a positive one for the defense. What a great play call.
Man, Walsh is just like a little bowling ball, isn't he? He's got great feet for a running back. He's tiptoed his way through the holes all night, but when he needs to put his shoulder down, he does a great job of falling forward.
Snap is dropped. Falling on it, no, it's Mission Prep. They're getting the ball. It's going the other way as Gabe Ahumada takes advantage of the Missamore mistake, his 3rd turnover.
Yeah, and the AG just can't get out of their own way so far in this second half. And at the end of the quarter there before, we'd seen some bobbled exchanges on that drive before it happened there, but that wasn't even that horrible of a snap. It just kind of went right through the hands of the quarterback and ends up on the ground.
Certainly an instance where it seemed like Missamore was trying to pick it up and keep the play going. Watching maybe a little bit too much college football there. You got to just fall on it. And now Mission Prep, after going 3 and out, handing it off to Harrigan as he picks up a healthy 4 yards.
Yeah, but Mission Prep now, they're just going to get back into that 4-minute offense that we were talking about. They're going to try to run the ball, and especially if they're able to pick up 3 or 4 yards on first down, then you know they're just going to keep trying to do it. 3 yards in a cloud of dust is what they want now.
Under 3.5 to play in the 3rd quarter, though. Still plenty of time, about 15 minutes to go. You have to think if Mission Prep can get points here, though, they would go a long way. Garrett at the bottom of your screen, Howard at the top. In motion goes Clayton. Towson leading the way for Harrigan. He takes it around the left side. He surpassed the 1,000-yard mark on the season earlier. Gets out of bounds just past the 45, and it's a 3rd and short for the home Royals.
He did a great job there of following his blocker. That was Townsend, I think, up in front, and he does a great job of reading those blocks. When you have a fullback running like that, if he turns his hips inside, you know he's kicking him out. You need to cut up underneath. If he tries to get around him, you got to go around, and that's one thing that Harrigan's done so well this season, and something that he's worked on over the last couple years is reading and setting up his outside blocks.
So Clayton comes out, Luera back in, a little bit more of a fullback look, but Coach Schuster wants to talk it over. Timeout called by Mission Prep here with 2:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll step away. Be right back, a lead by 7. Family is ingrained in the core values of Mission Prep. So when picking cars, why not stay with family? And that means Hyundai San Luis Obispo. Yup, Hyundai Slow, located right on Auto Parkway off of Los Osos Valley Road, keeps it in the family with the Mission Prep familiarity involved. So go check out Hyundai Slow today for quality vehicles, a friendly team, and professional service at every step of the way. And tell them the Royals sent you. Alongside Connor Allen, I'm Daniel Gillman. Happy to be with you on this Prep Sports Network production on this Friday night. Next broadcast for Mission Prep next week at Rigetti. Be a matchup in Santa Maria that Brian is more than excited to grab some barbecue and watch the action for. I know it, as
it's my hometown.
There you go. I was just there earlier today, actually. Played a little golf up at the Santa Maria Country Club. Beautiful day. Day for a little bit of links as White finds himself in a ton of trouble, but a late flag comes in. Might there have been a face mask? That could certainly set things back as Kopcho makes the tackle, and we wait to see the call.
There's a bit of a blown play there, too. White turned around to hand it off, and there was no one home. Someone had a miscommunication there.
And it's a holding on the offense, declined, 4th and long, and we are in for a good one. How many punts are we going to have? I think this could be a record of Mission Prep punts in one game.
Well, you never want to let a team hang around, and you get the feeling as this evening goes on, Mission's doing themselves a disservice by letting AG just kind of hang around in there.
Kick from Dahlin is a decent one. You want to keep it away from Clark and hope for a good bounce. And almost identical to last possession, the Eagles are going to start at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, he punted it from 40 to 40.
For those that need help with that one, that's about a 20-yard punt from 41
We should have
to the 42. But
the hang time clock on that
There's a
one.
little bit of yellow laundry on the field. And for the second consecutive punt, Mission Prep called for an illegal formation. Has to believe that somebody's lined up illegally there.
Someone must be too far back.
Yep. And so from the 41, once again, to the 46, deja vu from the last possession, where Arroyo Grande got across the 50-yard line, but did fumble, picked up by Ahumada, who's had a whale of a day. 8 tackles last week for Gabe. He's up over that 9 tackles and a fumble recovery now for the big sophomore right end. Keep an eye on 66 there at the bottom of your screen. He's been providing havoc, matched up with Joseph Clipperton. Quick 2-step drop, pressure in the face, but the completion is made to Pinkerton. His first catch since the first quarter, and a healthy 5-yard gain.
Yeah, you see Missimore, he's got some moxie, man. He stood in there and delivered a nice pass there. We've said he's had a rough night, but you want your quarterbacks to have a short memory, and it looks like he does.
Was his 4th fumble lost, 9th total from Missimore, who has 11 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. It's been a formidable season as, what a run there. That's a hard-nosed run from Junior Hurley. He brought down by Lopez, but for a first down for the Eagles.
I love to see the whole time that he was wrapped up right there. Connor Lopez, the middle linebacker, was ripping at that ball, trying to get it out.
No huddle once again. Hurley finding a zone and pushing ahead to the 30-yard line. We'll see how close this is to the first down. It's a gain of 9.
Yeah, they've done this well several times tonight, but then they end up getting away from it, and it's kind of sputtering out. Let's see if they keep it up the middle.
Yep, they do with Hurley. 4 wide receivers, all just for show, as the 2nd and 1 gain picks up the first for the visitors here with a minute and a half to go in the 3rd.
And here comes that tempo. Once you start making plays, you start running the tempo, start making the defense tired, start making them confused.
Hurley with his shoulder pads sticking out from under that jersey. This has the feeling of one of those games where if it was a little muddier, then those white jerseys certainly would be dark. Oh, beautiful call on the read option as Missimore pushes ahead for a gain of about 4, brought down by Mario Luera.
Yeah, that was a great pull by Missimore to finally keep that one. They've been handing it all night. You haven't even really noticed that he's had the option to keep it. And the one time they slam the door shut, whoop, pulls it out and goes around the edge.
Just about a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. This time it's Waltz, the fresh legs, right into the big scrum there. And forward progress gets him at about the 20. Needs to get about 3 yards for the first. It'll be 3rd and short, maybe the final play of the quarter as well. Quick to the ball. You have to believe that your offensive linemen need to be in shape to run an offense like this. Keep an eye on 85 up in the slot at the top of the screen. Defended by Tanner. In motion comes Butler. It's a handoff to him. Blocking is there. Brandon Butler smothered, though. Tackled by Nazil and company, just shy of the first down.
Yeah, that was Connor Lopez was able to get out there as well. And the best part of the Mission Prep defense tonight has been their linebackers' ability to run sideline to sideline. They've been trying to stretch this defense wide all night, and they haven't quite been able to get outside on any of their plays. All the damage has been coming straight up the middle.
And AG content to take this to the fourth quarter, talk things over before what might be the biggest play of the ball game. 4th and 2 from the 19, coming up around the corner. End of 3, Mission Prep leads 21-14. We'll be right back. Feel like eating out, maybe ordering in? Why not try Papa's Thai Cafe, proud sponsor of Mission Prep High School football. Located right downtown off Monterey and Johnson, open Tuesday to Sunday, Papa Thai's Cafe. Mission Prep football brought to you by California Fresh Market, driven by Hyundai of San Luis Obispo. And folks, this is when you want to tune in. Fourth quarter. The Fours are up on a capacity crowd here at Royal Stadium. Arroyo Grande brought the full house. Mission Prep here on a 4th and 1. Handoff to Hurley. He spins around down to the 10 for the first down.
There is no die in these Eagles, man. They keep coming back. They keep fighting, staying in this game. What a great run there by Hurley to just gut that out and pick up that first down.
I just want to note this season, the Royals have not lost a game, leading in the fourth quarter.
The two losses coming to Bakersfield Christian and Aptos, both on the road as the full line change comes in for the Eagles. The jumbo set as the fullback is Josh Brock.
Harrigan checks in at safety. They got all hands on deck.
Pitch play, that's what got them the touchdown earlier. As Hurley, he fumbles. Mission Prep's on it. The 4th turnover of the game as George Kardashian picks it up.
Man, you hate to see that for AG all night. Those poor guys have been getting themselves down into the red zone and then just can't finish it off. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Mission Prep, we've been highlighting it, has been ripping at the ball all night, and they finally got one out there in the superpower.
2 fumbles and 2 interceptions as the turnover battle dominated by the Royals defense. And a chance to put some icing on this cake here on this Friday night as Mission Prep takes over at the 10-yard line. And you mentioned it, that defense for AG has to be devastated after forcing a 4th punt.
And nothing would make Coach Schuster happier than a 90-yard, 6-minute drive here.
Or one play, 90 yards.
Yeah, he'll take 90 in any capacity. There you go, Big Red, as White steps back to pass. Deep to Howard. He's double-teamed, but open. JJ's got it. One man to beat. It's a foot race as Santos can't keep up. One play, 90 yards. Mission Prep up by 2 scores.
Boy, does J.J. Howard have the wheels, but my goodness, how great was that throw? That was textbook drop it in the bucket right there. He threw it, touched the sky, came from the heavens like Halley's Comet, fell down to earth, and right into the breadbasket of one Jamar Howard.
Mission Prep gets a sideline warning, but they shake it off. It's a touchdown brought to you by KD Capital Mortgage. Located in beautiful Paso Robles, KD Capital Mortgage Corp is committed to helping you find the right mortgage product for your needs. As Max Hanchett, hoping to go 4 for 4 from that 10-yard line here. What a buzz in this place. Nothing gets you going more than a long touchdown.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but the last time I called out a play like that, it was a 98-yard run for Cole Tanner. So
love it.
Let's rock and roll.
Electric, Brian. Amazing. Hanchett. Kick is up, and it is good. 28-14. Just like that, we have now seen 2 turnovers leading to points on the next play. That's got to be the change in this game.
Yeah, it happens so often in football just because of the momentum swings, the huge highs and the huge lows. You can't help but get down when you just fumbled, when you were in the red zone hoping to take the lead. Then you're just a little bit out of it mentally on the next play. You let a guy like Jamar Howard get behind you, and the rest is history.
And when I talked to Coach Schuster this week, he told me if there's one-on-one coverage, we consider him open. And if there's two men, that's just a normal lineup for Howard. And they're the double team as Santos, the fastest player on the defense, cannot keep up. You thought maybe he'd be able to make the shoestring tackle. But in a way, letting him score there, maybe a little bit better than having 2-3 minutes if you tackle him on the 2-yard line per se.
Keep the defense out there. Yeah, get the clock running more. It's still only a 2-score game. Plenty of time left, especially with the weapons that they have, as we've seen Caleb Clark. And they still have yet to get Santos even really involved in the game at all.
And so with Caleb Clark back there after his 80-yard kick return touchdown on the last score, we'll see what Mission Prep decides to do as Max Hanchett once again lines it up, the 5'10 senior. AG playing a little bit more of a spread kick return here. Maybe expecting for a pooch kick to their second line. It is exactly that. Scooped up, though, by Clark. He's brought down by Esmond at the 39. So a bit of a win for both sides as Arroyo Grande has decent field position. Mission Prep back on defense as Ahumada as well helps out on that tackle. And with 11:29 to go in this fourth quarter, you have to start to get a little desperate if you're Arroyo Grande here and maybe try to the deep ball a little bit more.
Yeah, you might just start forcing it to some of your playmakers. Like we've said, they've not been able to get Santos involved at all, and who's been basically the main heartbeat of their offense up to this part in the season. And you can see as he walks out, he's got his head down. His body language isn't great right now as he's thinking, man, coach, give me a shot.
3 consecutive Eagles drives have ended in turnovers. A couple fumbles and an interception. As Ben Walsh holds it, and Gabe Ahumada has his 10th tackle of the contest.
I tell you what, we might have the most impressive freshman and sophomore in the league playing in this game tonight, with Ahumada out there as a sophomore, with Clark out there as a freshman. We've seen some great plays from some young players tonight.
Mission Prep without a senior on their defensive line, plenty of resurgence to move forward into their careers as Missamore snaps it at 11 minutes to go in the game. Deep ball, tight coverage, lots of hand fighting, but the defense of Luke Walker keeps Santos away from the stat sheet once again.
Yeah, Walker did a great job with his position there, staying on the upfield shoulder of Santos, and he showed some great speed there, being able to run with the big guy stride for stride with no worries about him getting over the top.
Nazil will come out. One extra nickel back adds in as Mario Luera may be asked to defend here. Looks like he's lined up with Koa Kopcho, the safety who's out there as a wide receiver at the moment. Waltz in the backfield with Missamore. 3rd and 10, play action. There is Kopcho. He's got a seam and an advantage there as the speedster was matched up with Luera. First down, tackle made by Tanner, and that's the momentum you need to at least breathe a little bit in first down.
Man, that was another one that was a bit scary if you're wearing the white, though. He just got it past the outstretched arms of Mario Luera.
Maybe the best throw from Missamore today. As the run to Waltz. He's pummeled by Luera at the 35.
Great tackle by Luera, getting him down on the ground quickly. But once again, Walls, man, he's got some great feet. I tell you, I've been very impressed with him being able to get yards out of plays that look like they're dead.
Yeah, he's averaging about 8 yards per carry this season, just under 30 rushing attempts on the campaign as Waltz again alongside Missamore, clock running under 11 minutes. 2nd and 5 from the 35. 3-step drop, deep ball, a chance, and an opening, and what a catch made by Santos at the 2.
Wow, that was a phenomenal catch. That was great defense as well. Walker was right in his hip pocket, just lost sight of the football, never turned around, and Santos was able to make a great adjustment, stopping and coming back to that ball.
Well, when the Eagles needed to hurry, they were able to. And if there's an offense that's built to score in bunches. It's a team that doesn't huddle. As Herlihy swarmed. Who is that off the edge? It's Ahumada again.
Ahumada's done a great job of figuring out when they're running the zone reads like that. And when you run that zone read, he's unblocked. So he's just coming off the edge like a cannon and just going straight for the running back.
Coming into this game with just 17 tackles, he's nearly had 15 already. This time Herlihy sneaks through the middle and he's in for his second score.
Yeah, that time Ahumada met a blocker. He came around, thought he was going to be free. They pulled, I think, big number 66. It was around the corner, Octavio Ferreira. Is that how you say his last name?
Yep.
And he got a piece of Ahumada, and they were able to get into the end zone. We still got ourselves a ball game here.
Certainly do. 9:39 left. And that score in just 2 minutes and 6 seconds. This is Lopez Ramirez, though, an important extra point. Good hold on a bad snap, and it's good. Back within 7, 28-21 with under 10 to play.
Yeah, apparently when you get your playmakers the ball, they can help you score some touchdowns. We've been calling for Santos all night. Calls number back-to-back plays and able to get themselves down there.
Experience car buying made easy at Sunset Honda.
Like Sunset Honda's MPG upgrade with huge savings on fuel-efficient vehicles.
Right now, take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months on select new Hondas. Or take $2,000 off every new Passport and Pilot. Or $3,000 off select new Ridgelines.
Plus, get a $25 gas card just for taking a test drive.
Trade in your gas guzzler and get $1,000 over Blue Book from the start.
Get started today at sunsethonda.com.
28-21 here as we have a score update from the St. Joseph game with Rigetti as the leaders in the conference with Mission Prep lead 28-0 in the fourth quarter. So it looks like St. Joseph will move to 5-0. But Mission Prep has some meat left on this bone. 9:39 to go in the game. Royals have 2 timeouts. Eagles have all 3. Trying anything crazy on this kickoff here, Connor?
Oh, boy, I don't think so.
With the way that Mission Prep has been able to score, giving him the ball at the 30 or giving him the ball at the 50.
Hasn't made much of a difference. That's a great point.
So
but
we will see.
I think that he's got some trust in their defense. They've played well tonight, and they actually were able to have a little bit of rest there while AG was able to get in the end zone, and maybe their legs are a little bit healed.
So Lopez Ramirez will send it deep. It's a great kick. In fact, Howard lets it go all the way into the end zone. A smart play by Jamar there as the touchback is called.
Ooh, boy, that always makes you nervous when it starts to check up right there around the 2 or 3 yard line, doesn't it? But he got a good bounce, and luckily that went into the end zone. Or else this could be a wholly different ball game if he gets tackled at the 1 yard line or something.
Although he's coming off of a 90-yard touchdown catch a moment ago on a dime thrown by Drew Harrigan, by Colby White, who now has 16 passing touchdowns this season. We'll see if Mission Prep elects to go a little bit more conservative here.
Yeah, now maybe they're thinking, maybe we should have just ran the ball a little bit more.
2 minutes is all it took for the Eagles to score and pull back within 7. High formation look for the Royals. Hand off to Harrigan. He's got a hole. Splits between one tackle. He's still chugging to the 39-yard line. Brought down eventually by Brandon Butler, but not before another Mountain Air first down.
Yeah, finally Harrigan's been able to find a crease. It's been tough sledding between the tackles for Mission Prep tonight, but he finally found one there, and you saw the patented Harrigan just bouncing off of players as he runs through right up the middle. And he got hit at the end so hard his mouthpiece popped out.
Saw that. A gain of 19. That puts Harrigan up over the century mark here tonight. The 6th game this season for Drew Harrigan with over 100 rushing yards. Another handoff to him, tried and true. Oh, he trucks Jacob Angulo and falls forward for a gain of 5.
That's when Jacob Angulo is going to ask to go to the bathroom right before the play comes up in films on Monday. I guarantee you that.
That's the leading tackler for the Eagles. And Drew Harrigan made him look like one of the JV counterparts we saw in the game prior. A game that was won by Arroyo Grande on a last-second touchdown drive with 1 minute left. There was a rowdy crowd for that one as well, so the fans have stayed fervent on this Friday night. Handoff again, Harrigan around the right side, off the tackle, and what a play made! Phenomenal diving play by Kopcho as the safeties providing pressure for the Eagles.
That was such an awesome tackle, not just because there was no one else there, but Harrigan was setting up that to work that way. He went in low to the line behind his runner to try to get the safety to fill that hole, but he didn't fall for it. Stayed on the outside like he was coached and made a great tackle there to get Harrigan on the ground and force a 3rd and medium.
Well, Howard with 155 yards. We'll see if they double team him at the bottom of the screen. I formation on 3rd and 7. 3-step drop. White scrambling. He's in trouble. He gets around the defenders across the 45, and Colby White now has 100 rushing yards, and that's the biggest scamper of the game.
That was a great job by Colby White because he had nothing on either side. If you look before the play, it looked like almost a punt. They had 2 DBs on both guys, about 6 yards deep, standing 1-on-1 apart from each other. So that was a great decision by Colby White, and he's got more wheels than you think. Once he takes off, he always gets a little farther than you think it would be.
And it looked like Santos may have had him in the backfield, but Connor, sometimes the worst thing is to tightly cover everyone because then you leave the gap for White.
When you run a man coverage on the backside, no one's ever looking back at the quarterback.
Under 7.5 to play in this contest. Mission Prep leads by 7. Play action. Over the middle. Wide open Luera. He makes an incredible grab and may have been brought down by the face mask as well. That's a gain of 25 and the biggest catch of Luera's day.
As a former tight end, that's the pop pass. Everyone knows it. And all I can tell you right now is Luera is thinking, man, why didn't you throw it over the top like you did to Howard? I only get the ball once a night. Let me run it into the end zone. But it's completion nonetheless, and they move the sticks on a well-timed pop pass call. It always works once a game. You just got to know when to call it.
So it's a 5-yard face mask penalty, which pushes the ball inside the red zone. This has been a territory where Mission Prep has struggled a bit, though, as of late, and quickly running to the line. White off to Harrigan, around the outside. A gang of tacklers won't get him down, and eventually brought down by number 7, Lucas Salonik there. And Connor, let me ask you this. Coming into a stretch like this, under 7 minutes to play, what's the mindset of a defense where you're down by 7, you got to hold, but you don't want to take too much time?
Right, yeah, you're thinking like, maybe should I let them score? Does it give us some more time? But when you still have a 7-point game and we know that Mission's not that that great of a kicker, you still just kind of want to hold out as long as you can.
2 wide receiver look for the Royals as White hands it off to the backup running back, Tanner. We've seen him pick up 2 interceptions today. And a little bit more of the scat back is able to scamper down to the 5.
And Isaac Townsend deserves some flowers on this drive. He's been delivering some massive blocks from the fullback position, opening up some holes on the end of the line.
It's another Mountain Air first down. Check him out on 667 Marsh Street for any of your camping gear. As another I formation lines up here for White. 6:10 and counting left in this contest as the box is stacked and Tanner is trembled. Swamped down there behind the line of scrimmage by another Tanner Quarisma.
Yeah, that was Sean Rivas, the guard for Mission, that just got beat upfield. They kind of knew where the play was going. I mean, we all knew where the play was going, but you can't let him get across your face. And that's exactly what happened there. And as we talked about earlier, once you get a D lineman in the backfield, it really ruins the whole entire running play.
And it is important to say that Max Hanchett has not kicked a field goal this season for Mission Prep. He's been 4 for 4 in extra points today. We'll see if they need it. Fade, end zone, Howard, 3 touchdowns. J.J. Howard, brilliant.
I was going to look and see if they were going to double him on that play. That was the first play in a while. They hadn't put 2 on him. They left the flat defender close to the box, expecting another run, and just calling all the right calls at the right times as Coach David Schuster here in this second half. As what started off as maybe looking like a low-scoring game, you look up, and now we've got 35 points on the board pending a PAT.
Last week it was Tyler Garrett with 3 touchdowns. Tonight it's Jamar Howard with the hat trick, as that touchdown, as always, brought to you by KD Capital Mortgage Corp. Committed to helping you find the right mortgage product for your needs. 5:24 left. Oh, it's a botched attempt as the holder can't quite put it in place, and it's Colby White there who's dragged to the ground. And so the extra point won't even be kicked. It's a 13-point lead as we take it into a quick break. 5:24 to go. We've seen this Eagles offense. Don't count them out.
Hyundai San Luis Obispo is proud to support Mission Prep football this fall at 1407 Auto Park Way in San Luis Obispo. Come check out our Hyundai Getaway Sales event. With new inventory arriving daily, you won't want to miss out on what's going on at Hyundai San Luis Obispo. And if you don't feel like coming in, we make it easy with the option to shop from home. For more information, visit HyundaiSlow.com. Mission Prep football is driven by Hyundai San Luis Obispo.
That's good.
Back into Mission Prep football, brought to you by California Fresh Market, driven by Hyundai of Slow. I'm Daniel Gillman. He's Connor Allen. We're so happy that you've joined us on this Friday night, and it has been a great one. Getting set for another Sunday Car Wash kickoff. Brought to you, as always, by Sunday Car Wash. Go ahead and visit sundaycarwash.com/sweepstakes to win free car washes for life. As Max Hanchik didn't even have the opportunity for the extra point there, and we'll try to keep things away from Clark. Falls right into the freshman's hands. He's got a seam. We see how quick Clark can get through, and he's again through the secondary, past the kicker, and another kick return touchdown for the freshman.
This kid is something else. You always worry about when you kick a ground ball like that, the guys are going to get out of their lanes. And that didn't even really happen to Mission Prep. They just basically got outran right there. That kid's just got another gear. And when he sticks his foot in the ground and decides to go full speed, you better watch out. My goodness, one man carrying this team in the second half so far tonight.
A 70-yard kick return touchdown, backing up from his 80-yard kick return touchdown in the third quarter. And just like that, an extra point away from being down just 6 as Lopez Ramirez for an important point after try. And it's good. 34-28 with 5:12 to go. And the one thing you think about here is that Eagles defense doesn't have a lot of time to rest.
No, they've been on the field most of the night. They're definitely getting tired. But now they might be re-energized with a sense of maybe we still can hang in this game.
Guys, I'll take the blame for that touchdown there. I accidentally updated the scoreboard on our top of our graphics here to AG having 28 points before they had 28 points. So that one's on me. I do apologize to Royals fans.
That's your second correct prediction of the night.
So, yes. I'm doing horrible here. I'm just going to turn my mic off again and go back to keeping score.
Oh, it's the best when Brian chimes in.
I'm glad Brian took me off of the hook for the missed PAT. So
that's true.
His error was much more egregious.
Well, you wonder, you know what side of the field Clark is on, and yet you kick it to that side.
Yeah, you see that they decided to go with like kind of a squib option, but they still kicked it right to him, you know? You'd think sometimes common sense ain't so common.
And so the botched extra point try, fumbled by White, now looms large as Mission Prep leads by 6. And after that long drive, you got to consider an extra point here. Excuse me, an onside kick here.
Yeah. And how about all the fireworks here in this second half? Man, we were thinking it was going to be a low-scoring game at one point. There was not a lot happening. Now we've got touchdowns of 80, 90, and 70. 70, 80, 90. We've got touchdowns from all different levels.
I'll tell you what, our fans in Vegas who took the over are probably happy right now as Lopez Ramirez gets set for a question mark of a kickoff. We'll see what Coach Hartman decides to go with. Ball's at the 40. And it will be a deep kick. Trusting the defense once again, and that is perfectly placed to go out for a touchback.
And that's how you don't let someone's best returner affect the game.
I'll tell you what, Coach Hartman could not have been more optimistic about the kicking side of his game. He was hyping up the junior in Lopez Ramirez. He talked about the kicking history that he has had here in AG with Garrett Owens, who was the league MVP, went to play for Oregon State. Billy Finich as well went to play D1. Colton Feker went to Cal Poly and then Washington State as well. So he knows there's a sense of pride for the kicking unit. And of course, Hartman, he used to coach special teams, because what hasn't he coached in his time as a football scholar? Receivers. Everything but receivers, which today receivers have struggled a bit for this AG side. And we will see what Mission Prep has in store. It's a run again, and Drew is chewing through the middle, down to the 26.
He has such great contact balance. That's not a phrase you hear often, but what it means is his ability to get hit but not lose his balance, to fall over, is one of the best high school running backs I've ever seen. The way he runs through a hole and gets battered around but stays on his feet is fantastic. He must take some dance classes or something.
Gentlemen, those aren't hash marks. Those are railroad tracks for the Juju train.
There it is. Just a junior, averaging 8 yards per carry this season, over 130 a game, and he's just 10 shy of that mark once again here tonight. I formation with under 4.5 to play, and a 2nd and 4 coming. Harrigan follows his lead blocker, but what a tackle. Diving play made from behind, and that's Tanner Quarisma.
Yeah, he did a great job. There was 2 blockers there in front, and he was able to kind of slide out underneath and get his arm in there to make that tackle, because Ahumada was coming around, and he didn't have anyone to find. He was looking for work, is what they say when you pull around and you can't find someone.
How about the duo of Esmond and Ahumada today? Esmond on offense, Ahumada with 15 tackles defensively, playing 2 ways as usual, as Colby White gets the call from the sideline. We had 2 early delay of games against Mission Prep. They haven't had to worry about that since. With Howard at the top of the screen, Garrett at the bottom. Handoff, Harrigan. Past the 30 for another Mountain Air first down.
That was kind of funny there. Ahumada was pulling around again, but it was a quick pull. It was only pulling around the center, and Mario Loera just kind of bashed him forward and said, "We're going this way, buddy. You want to get out of the way or else the train's coming through."
Well, last play he followed his fullback. This play, the fullback followed him, and a little bit of a push there to get across the 30. Fresh set of downs here, and only a couple more first downs away from really icing this game, while the Eagles do have all 3 timeouts. Something to keep an eye on. The run game has been superb. Why would you go to anything else? It's Harrigan. All-out blitz, and they guessed right. Maybe a gain of 1, if that, as Angulo adds in his 15th tackle of the night, and a timeout called by the Eagles. So what do you think about them using it now?
Yeah, I guess they thought that would be their best bet once they get a tackle with no gain. They want to kind of put all their eggs in a basket here, making it the longest field they can go, rather than it being 2nd and 5.
That's a great point. 3:03 left on the clock. Ball on the 32-yard line in a nail-biter on this Friday night. The Royals, winners of 10 straight league games going back to 2020. They're 4-0 after a 10-1 season a year ago, 5-2 overall. Hoping to stretch that to 5-0 as St. Joseph officially moves to 5-0 with the win over Rigetti. MCP takes on Rigetti next weekend, while this AG team hosts Santa Ynez.
These plays coming up right here are my favorite parts of football. This is such a chess match coming up here, because if you're Mission, you want to run the ball, you want to keep the clock moving, right? You want to just pick up a couple yards, but AG is going to bring the pressure like they just did. And if you have so much faith in J.J. Howard, maybe, who's probably going to end up with one-on-one coverage here, do you just take the ball out of the ground and maybe have him go get another touchdown for you? Or do you keep it and run the ball knowing that they're going to have all their guys within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage?
Garrett at the top of the screen. I don't think he has a catch yet. There's your play action. Loose man from the outside. White, easy pass, catch, Towson, first down. And when it mattered most, Colby White put it on the numbers.
What an awesome ability to show some maturity there by Colby White. He wanted to take the deep shot. He saw that Howard was open, but he didn't have it because he was getting flushed out of the pocket, and he just collects himself, makes a nice dump off to the fullback who picks up the first down, and that's why you trust your quarterback to make that throw in that play.
Oh, and you guard both wide receivers, and you get pressure on the quarterback, and you defend Harrigan, and yet the Royals find a way to beat you with the 4th option for White there, and he stays in bounds as the clock continues to tick. Why not reward the big man? Towson holding on to that football, though, gains about a yard. And a timeout called by Coach Hartman. Second called timeout for AG. It's a 2nd and 9.
Yeah, you can see AG's now in the full desperation mode as we'll take a break.
Get a head start on your New Year's goals with Kennedy Club Fitness. Locations all over San Luis Obispo County. You've got classes, sauna, steam room, tub, and a heated pool. It's where I work out. It's Kennedy Club Fitness. All right, we don't want to get you away too long. Once again, another proud sponsor of Royals Athletics, Crown Barbershop, located on Broad Street. By vets, for vets. Go ahead and tell Edwin we sent you here from Prep Sports Network, place where I get my hair cut. Fantastic sponsor of Mission Prep. As let's reset things. 14-7 at the half. Mission Prep went on a 14-0 run in 3 minutes at the end of the second quarter. Then things went wild. 2 kick return touchdowns by Caleb Clark, the freshman. 2 long touchdowns to Jamar Howard. And after all said and done, after a missed extra point, Mission Prep has the ball up 6, needing just 1 first down to ice the game.
Yeah, you know, I don't think anyone in this game came in thought they would be within 6 points with 2 minutes to go. But credit to AG, they fought the entire night. Even when it looked like the chips were down, they ran back 2 kicks.
Kick return touchdown just a few moments ago. And a false start on 2nd and 9. A team in Mission Prep that had 2 costly penalties in the first quarter. They had stayed pretty clean in the second half. Now we'll move back 5 yards.
Yeah, and you hate to do that in a position where you're just trying to run the clock out, really.
Shout out to Luke Jacobson watching from Seattle. We've got viewers from around the country, around the world, right? As
right.
Harrigan back across the seas.
Across the pond, Harrigan's brother. I hope he's tuning in tonight. We need that international viewing.
We'll see if his brother can come through with what could be a 14-yard dagger. The Eagles double teaming Howard on the top of the screen. Garrett down at the bottom. Have to think it's going to be a pass. It is. They're going deep. It's Garrett. He's got a step, but the throw just out of his outstretched arms, and a great defensive disguise there by Santos to stay with him.
Yeah, that was some good coverage by Santos. Some in the booth up here may say too good. Some of the fans in the stands might say too good. I don't say too good. I think that was a great job staying on his man, and Santos is showing that he's got that moxie, that ability to play offense and defense.
Well, there's that look that Coach Schuster mentioned. When there's one man on his receiver, he considers him open. You got to respect going for the gut punch there. And instead now, the Eagles still with the timeout. 3rd and 14, you almost have to throw it now. Long way to go to get that first down. A lot of pressure. White gets the throw off. It's caught on a knee. Howard, but he's ruled right at the chains. This is going to come down to a spot, and I think he's got it.
What a throw by Colby White there. He had a man draped all over him, had to double clutch it, and still was able to get enough on it to get it all the way out to Howard.
And we are going to have a measurement, something that Mr. Stanley was calling for all season. They got it when they didn't want it last week. Once again, when it looks like the eye test says first down, we'll wait and see as Gerald Schaefer will hopefully not have to bring out an index card.
I'm all for the sticks coming out in a game because it really affects the game when you rely just on vision, because we all know the refs don't always see everything.
Well, Brian, it is a Mountain Air Mission Prep first down, and maybe the play of the game. Off his back foot, Colby White finds his favorite receiver.
Yeah, he's been working in a dirty pocket pretty much the entire night.
Dirty.
The couple of times when he's had a clean pocket, he's delivered beautiful deep balls to Jamar Howard, but that was the grittiest of the throws tonight.
There's the final timeout called by Arroyo Grande. And you know what? Brian said it was going to get hot and heavy. He didn't mention it was going to get gritty and dirty here in this second half.
I just want to add about all this grit and dirt. We've gone international with our broadcast. We've gone across the pond. We got to take it to the next level, guys.
It's space?
We got to go to space. We got the International Space Station. We got to get NASA on board. I know somebody at NASA is listening and watching.
Or maybe we go underwater. Is there any like submarine we could get this on?
Yeah, get on a naval vessel that undersea. You know,
I like it.
A yellow submarine, maybe.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah, we'll all be all members of a yellow submarine.
Let's get a broadcast going on one of those Starlink satellites.
I don't want to quite quote the Beatles because I don't want to get copyrighted.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, though. I think that someone from space could probably see the deep ball that White threw to Howard there,
Yes.
the 90-yard dime. But for those doing
It
some
popped off
mental
on radar.
Exactly. For those doing some mental math, though, if the Royals can run a couple plays and take seconds, you can't kneel it per se, but if you take a few seconds off the clock, it looks like it will be all and done here. There we go. Jordan's with us watching from the UK. Got to hold on to the ball if you're Jordan's brother, and Drew's got the gap. He's not stopping through the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown. Mission Prep gets to 40 on this Friday night. It's another Katy Capital Mortgage Corp touchdown. But we've seen this in the NFL. If you go down, you actually win. It's
I was
not
thinking
over
the
yet.
exact same thing when I saw him bust off at the end there. But hey, you can never blame a young man for wanting to get in the end zone for a 50-yard run.
Exactly, a 46-yard scamper for Harrigan, his second touchdown. I think it was the Browns, though, that did it against the Jets early in the season where Nick Chubb could have gone down. Joe Flacco led him back to win. Interesting to go for one there. So the extra point is good from Hanchett, and the lead is 13. But as we say, game could be over. Instead, you just pad the stats a little bit.
Yeah, what the one tells you there is that they're not fearing the offense of AG at this point. But as you said, the game could just be over at some point. You might as well just take matters into your own hands.
And I think if you were to ask Coach Schuster after this game, he would tell you he'd want him to go down. Not to mention there's a chance of injuries, and not to be the Debbie Downer here, but
there's a reason why that man's already over 1,000 yards with a couple games to go.
Gentlemen, it's time to start thinking about the player of the game tonight. We have a couple good candidates. I'm just going to throw some names out there. Doesn't mean anybody's for sure. We got Colby White, 3 touchdowns passes. Drew Harrigan, the Drew train's been chowing down all night here.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. And we got Jamar Howard with a tremendous night. Cole Tanner with a couple interceptions. We got Townsend coming out of the backfield. We got the Loera brothers on the defense side of the ball.
Yeah, Ahumada with, 15 tackles and a fumble recovery. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a tough decision. Why don't you guys let us know in the chat who you think should be the player of the game? That catch by Townsend on that curl out, what was it, 2nd and 14, and he gets the first down. That's one of the plays of the game.
Huge, and people listening to this broadcast know I like to throw a wrench into things at the end, and I always argue for a player that maybe everyone wasn't thinking of it. And Townsend's that guy right now. He's played a clutch game, unsung hero tonight, and like you said, that 3rd down conversion couldn't have been any more important. And also him able to stay in bounds when he converted. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was big. Just over 2 minutes to go, and now we'll have a kickoff from Hanchett, and only the fantasy football owners are invested right now.
Hey, look at that! They kicked it to the other side.
What do you know? Picked up on the second chance by Butler. He finds a little bit of a gap. Only to the 35-yard line, though, here with 1:46 to go. I'll tell you what, I'm leaning Ahumada because you don't often see a sophomore make an impact like this at the varsity level. He's been everywhere. The fumble recovery was a game changer as well. And how many times are we going to give it to the offense?
No, I totally 100% echo what you're saying. And I would also like to put a vote in for Ahumada. Just the fact that he's a sophomore and that his number was called so often. And as you said, 15 tackles is an unreal amount of tackles for a defensive lineman. When his number was called, he performed. He's so young. Yeah, I would love to give it to someone like Ahumada.
Yeah, Gabe had a sack last week against Lompoc and nearly doubled his tackle total on the season tonight. Not done yet, though. Someone can still make a late surge. And not to mention, Arroyo Grande isn't done yet as Santos makes his second grab. He had that long 40-yard catch earlier to set up the short touchdown run.
You see the talent there. He also runs so aggressively. He's a violent runner of the football.
A little bit like Deebo Samuel out there.
Absolutely.
Drops back to pass. Missamore has Clark. He's got a seam. Tanner will tackle him at the 15. There's Caleb Clark's first catch of the game.
Yeah, ran him right up the seam. Had him run a little bit of a bender in there and split the safeties, and a great throw, great catch, and I'm surprised they were able to catch him this time.
It's true. Good tackle by Cole Tanner there. Quickly back to pass. Missamore to Santos. End zone. That ball is caught. Was that with one hand? No, it comes down, as does a flag. It's incomplete.
That was some good defense out there by Terry. I wish he would have kept his eye on the ball a little longer. He was looking at it, then he turned back to the receiver, lost the ball.
And we'll wait to see what the flag is, but I'll tell you what, for an MVP vote on the other side of things, how about this offensive line for the Eagles? They've had to hustle to every play. No huddles is very rarely a respect given to that offensive line, but they are running sprints all day long as the flag goes against Mission Prep. Pass interference in the end zone. First down on the 8-yard line.
Also, players of the game want to point out the blocking that Townsend's brought in tonight, allowing 4 players like Drew Harrigan to get downfield to get those touchdowns.
Missamore, swing pass, Herlihy. This is going to run some clock as he gets tackled just shy of the goal line. Clock is important. No timeouts left for AG.
Yeah, and they looked like they were trying to go to Santos there first, but he slipped on his outbreaking route.
Clock at 1:07, but it's a first down, so they'll stop to reset the chains. No change to reset on a first and goal, though. Do you run? They will. Little risky, and Herlihy has his 3rd touchdown.
Yep, that's what we were saying. That's why you just go down. The game's still not so much in question, but you just add extra wear and tear onto your bodies. You're already on a team that has, the huge numbers. You don't want to risk anyone getting injured.
Not to mention, you didn't go for 2 there. So it's still a 13-point lead, which an extra point here by Lopez Ramirez would make it a 6-point game again. Now we know for sure the onside kick will come. Oh, nearly blocked by Terry as Lopez Ramirez moves to a perfect 5 for 5 from the extra point line. And here we go. For those that wanted some drama, we're going to have the onside kick.
If I'm the special teams coach for Mission Prep here, Doug May, I'm having a long talk with my boys. We've had a bad day. Special teams, it's a third of the game, and they've been giving up some points here. I would have a long talk with them, and you let your guys know that all that matters here is getting on that football. You just pop on that football. If your job is to block for the guy in front of him, make sure you do so. And I hope he tells his guys that if the ball, even if it hits off the ground and it bounces up high into the air, you can still fair catch an onside kick.
So they've got the hands team out there. Harrigan on the front line with Tanner alongside Luera, Terry, Dahlin, as well as Walker. For some reason, Howard is deep.
So quick fourth quarter stat. 4 touchdowns this quarter. 6 in this quarter. 5 in all 3 quarters combined before this quarter. So a lot of scoring going on.
And so we are set for the onside kick. Josue Lopez Ramirez.
A little double kicker look.
Try to keep this game going, and Mission Prep's not going to take their timeouts home with them. Coach Schuster uses it. And Lopez Ramirez very wisely there. The same way a kicker is always taught to kick the field goal after the timeout is called, just to get one out of your webs. You don't practice onside kicks as much, do you?
Very, very rarely. Usually on a Thursday afternoon, you practice them for about 3 minutes. And usually what it is just the coaches kicking balls as hard as they can at the players that have pissed them off all week. At least that's what my coaches used to do.
Well, and then the other 10 minutes is them screaming because nobody lined up right.
Exactly.
So, Connor, we saw that practice kick, though. It got that 3rd big bounce. That's what you're looking for, right?
Right, absolutely. That was a great onside kick. I'm almost sad that he wasted it. That was such a good kick. You always wanted to take 2 bounces, and then you want to expect that 3rd one to kick up, and that's when you get those big collisions with the guys that are up there. This is going to be interesting. This is if Mission Prep is not able to come up with this ball, this gets real dicey, as you said, with that mixed extra point, making it only a 6-point game.
Well, are you surprised that the best hands on the team isn't up there with Howard?
Yeah, I am very surprised that he's all the way back there.
It is a little interesting. Nevertheless, we are ready for take two. You mentioned a little bit of a two-kicker set. You have Lopez Ramirez there. Number 12, Miguel Banda is next to him. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the kicker who
I think
sets
so
this
too.
out. You mentioned you could call the onside kick. You could also just hit it out of bounds. So with 1:01 on the clock, 6-point lead for Mission Prep, and the whistle blows. Oh, they got the kick, and it's smothered nicely.
What?
Mission Prep, Sean Rivas has it. You talk about a hands
Oh my
team.
goodness gracious.
The offensive lineman, the center, secures it for the Royals, and they will move to 5-0.
I guess he touches the ball more than anybody else in a night, so maybe that's why they got him out there.
There it is, Connor, and Mission Prep can get into victory formation. It'll take 2 kneels.
That ball went 10 yards and 2 inches, and he fell on that immediately.
He will be telling that story for 30 years, I guarantee you.
I'll tell you what, I was ready to call the bounce because it was one more bounce from going up. Rivas wisely smothers it. Now they'll move it back about a yard for the knee. Handshakes between the defensive and off, and just a well-fought game. This is a respectful game. There were no skirmishes, no scuffles, no unsportsmanlikes. Both teams kept it pretty copacetic out there on the field.
Yeah, this was a fantastic game to watch from a sportsmanship standpoint. You even had players from other teams helping each other up, which is something you don't get that often around here. There was none of that happening in the Paso game, I assure you, or the Lompoc game.
And there's our final kneel down. Final score, Mission Prep 41, Arroyo Grande 35. AG falls to 3-5, 2-3 in the conference. MCP moves to 6-2, 5-0, staying atop the Mountain League in their inaugural season. Connor, who are we going with? Mission Prep player of the game. What do we think?
I think we got to go Ahumada on this one.
You know what? There's a little bit of anarchy. I took over for Brian's booth. I think he wants an offensive player. We're going to go Ahumada, though. Let him sort things out with the fans who might be upset about it. Brian, what were your final thoughts from this one?
It was a good game, good test for the Royals today. They've seen a lot of, they needed this test, the big body test, because coming up in 2 weeks, we got the St. Joseph Knights, which is going to be the biggest foe we've faced all season long. And next we've got the Rigetti Warriors, and Coach Payne brings the pain gain with him. And though the numbers don't reflect well for the Rigetti Warriors this season in wins and losses, or in the wins column, they are a tough squad, and they can upset you late in the season and build that momentum. And we've seen them do that previously when they went on championship runs in the postseason. So don't count out either of these two teams coming up. And this is a test we needed to show that we can and stay in the Mountain League.
Well, Arroyo Grande scored first. They had surges in the second half with 3 touchdowns overall from Junior Herlihy, 2 kick return touchdowns from Caleb Clark, but 4 defensive takeaways from Mission Prep, the difference maker, as Jamar Howard, 90-yard touchdown, 51-yard touchdown, and then the late 6-yard touchdown catch to put the game on ice. As we thank you so much for joining us. Connor, any final thoughts?
Final thought would just be, I think that was a great game for Mission. It wasn't exactly how they would have wanted it, but we touched upon it a little earlier. I talked about it last week. It was important, I think, for Mission to play a team with a meaty offensive line and a big defensive line. They've been doing well against a lot of the teams, but they haven't yet come up against a big, rounded offensive line that knows what they're doing. And when they get into the playoffs, it's going to be important to know how to deal with an offensive line that can assert their dominance. And I think this will go a long way in helping the Mission Prep Royals towards the end of the season.
So the Royals, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 4 turnovers. A balanced all-around win. As we thank you so much for joining us. For Brian Stanley and Connor Allen, I'm Daniel Gillman saying so long on this Friday night. Mission Prep victorious 41-35.
Don't unplug yet. Don't unplug the power yet.
Did I unplug you?
No, not yet.
No, I'm not plugged. No, you're good.
I'm just making sure.